Amen Corner. He drew inspiration from the 1933 jazz song Shouting in That Amen Corner by the Dorsey Brothers. The reason behind its difficulty is all in the sand and the water. Tournament officials don't even bother to count the balls lost in there each year, such is the sheer number. The 11th, named White Dogwood, is a downhill 520-yard par 4 with a pond to the left of the green and a bunker to the right. Both cause a lot of trouble each year. The 12th, Golden Bell, is perhaps the most famous hole in the world, with danger everywhere. Many aim for the flag, but look, get it even slightly wrong, and you're in the azaleas at the back, or the bunkers at the front, or even worse, Rays Creek. Or you can play it safe and aim for the open green on the left. You chicken. Tiger Woods once said, if you make 4 bogeys from Thursday to Sunday, you're doing well. And the highest ever score on that hole? 13. It's a par 3. Tom Weiskopf in 1980 was the sorry soul. Often the iconic Ben Hogan Bridge is the only thing players enjoy about Golden Bell. Even if you escape there unscathed though, you met with Azalea, the dogleg par 5 13th. It tempts players to go for the green in 2, but cut over those trees on the left at your peril. Every year, it seems, Amen Corner destroys someone's dreams. Rory McIlroy dropped 3 shots through here as his round unravelled in 2011. In 2016, a year after navigating Amen Corner expertly, Jordan Spieth shot a quadruple bogey on the 12th to throw away his green jacket. I mean, it sounds like my game, to be honest. So who'll be the next to be brought to their knees, praying for mercy after Amen Corner?
Good morning to you. Happy Sunday. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT with Shebahn Aherne and the former Chelsea and Republic of Ireland striker Tony Cascarino. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. We go again, my friends. Man United got beat again at Brentford yesterday.
One step forward, several steps back. They can never put 2 wins in a row on the board in the Premier League under Ruben Amorim.
Liverpool lost their 100% record with a last-ditch defeat at Crystal Palace.
3 minutes from time, may win it, and it may not, because Eddie Nketiah has just blasted in from the corner of the 6-yard box. Selhurst Park.
What about that for the title race? Interesting times. So Arsenal travel to Newcastle today with a chance to close the gap.
One team, one city. I think that makes it a different as well. And to play as an opposition as well is such a challenge and opportunity at the same time. So great atmosphere to play.
We will discuss all of yesterday's Premier League and sporting results, bring you a full preview of everything happening today. talkSPORT, as ever, has you covered. And Manchester United fans, what happens next? Done with Amorim, or does the responsibility fall with the players? You know the number. The floor is yours. 03717 22 3344. I've got a feeling it might get a little bit messy this Sunday morning. You're listening to the Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Morning. Oh, Cass. Too much sport. Too much to take in.
Do you know what? The golf was wonderful.
Oh,
and the
magic.
football was awful. If you're a Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool fan, fair play to the teams they played, because honestly, watching some of these clubs yesterday, I can't believe, and I know we're going to talk about them a bit later, I can't believe that Liverpool have gone 5 straight wins and a European win straight out the bat. Because what I saw yesterday, they were taken apart by a Palace team. That's before we get to Manchester United, you know, and Chelsea. I can't believe what I'm witnessing from real, flagship clubs of the Premier League.
Is that a changing of the times? Does it happen?
Well,
Do we have to accept at times that just might happen?
Well, you made a really valid point, Shebahn, because they're being beaten in basic ways as well. Manchester United were beaten by quite direct balls, couldn't defend corners or set pieces or long throws. They got in trouble a lot against Brentford yesterday. And you know what's coming. And they looked lumbering at the back, didn't they?
Yep.
Just there's so much wrong. And I'm looking at Ruben Amorim on the side and I'm thinking, then you start looking at body language, don't you, and how he's acting. And then people will start saying, well, he looks at the ground most of the time. He's not watching the match because he's got his head literally firmly looking at the ground for long periods. And your own fans are probably getting frustrated with it. But from the sidelines, you're thinking, you've got to have more, Ruben. You've got to make this team play better. You've got to make them overachieve, not underachieve. That's your duty as a manager.
Yeah. Yeah. And on that conversation, these flagship teams, you want to take a look now at Crystal Palace, like you say, taking apart Liverpool yesterday.
They did.
18 kids.
Alisson was Liverpool's best player. I was telling you, it wasn't a fluky win. No. It was fluky that Liverpool even got in a 1-1 position.
Yeah. I mean, and the fact now that we sit here today, Cass, I think my mind is changing now on Amorim because there's only so long you can be supportive and positive, but the lack of consistency is becoming a real glaringly obvious issue. You can't put a plaster over it anymore with Amorim at Manchester United, and yesterday was just shambolic. And credit to Brentford, credit to them.
I've always said one of the most outstanding features I playing against Manchester United is the one thing you couldn't do, and they were never soft. They were never a soft team.
Yeah.
They were physically, they'd stand up, they'd match you, they'd battle you, even if they were playing poorly, they'd try and match you physically.
Yeah.
This Manchester United team don't even have that.
Yeah, it's sad.
That's a bare minimum.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. They're almost giving up themselves. If you missed it, here's how the Premier League sounded yesterday for you here on talkSPORT.
What a dramatic day of news and events in the Premier League.
Jensen, he gets to the edge of the area. Jensen's going to go for goal and win the game with an absolute stunner. Manchester United have beaten again.
Another reason why Erling Haaland stayed on the pitch, Mickey Gray.
Yeah, he's got his second. Manchester City 5, Burnley 1, and it is Erling Haaland.
And it's the equaliser from the super sub, Federico Chiesa, with 3 minutes of normal time remaining.
A red card for Trevor Chalobah. So Chelsea down to 10 men.
It's Leeds 2, Bournemouth 2. It comes from a set piece.
And the points are sealed. It's Chelsea 1, Brighton 3. Danny Welbeck.
That Chiesa equaliser, 3 minutes from time, may win it, and it may not, because Eddie Nketiah has just blasted in from the corner of the 6-yard box. Selhurst Park erupts.
Sunderland, promoted via the playoffs in May, are sitting in the Champions League places in the Premier League.
It's the unpredictable Premier League, at least at the start of the season. Just over 90 seconds remain. Wolves fans, you're nearly there. In by Tell, hit by Paulinho! He's put it in the bottom corner! On a day of late goals in the Premier League, dramatically, Tottenham 1, Wolves 1.
That's crazy. Crazy. Don't change Premier League. Or maybe Man United. Change, please. Brentford beating Man United at 12:30 here on talkSPORT. 3-1 was the result. Chelsea down to 10 men again. Beaten by Brighton 3-1 at Stamford Bridge. Palace beat Liverpool at the death, as you hear there, 2-1. All thanks to Eddie Nketiah. Leeds and Bournemouth managed a 2-2 draw. Man City smashed Burnley 5-1. And Forest and still searching for a win there, losing to Sunderland 1-0 at home, and Spurs and Wolves was a 1-1 draw. Before the games yesterday, literally as we packed up our stuff and left here, Cass, we learned that Graham Potter had been sacked in his role at West Ham as well.
Yeah.
In comes Nuno Espirito Santo, ready to go for his first game in charge in the Premier League tomorrow away to Everton. An exciting wee day.
It was a crazy day. I mean, I got home, like you mentioned, about Graham Potter, and then saw it come up on the news that he'd already parted company. I'm not surprised at all. I thought it was a disastrous period for West Ham, and Graham just couldn't make it work. Whatever he tried, it just didn't. And quite clearly, they saw an opportunity. Flavour of the month of, say, Nuno was out there, and they've managed to get that over the line. They leapt at the opportunity.
They really did.
To try and bring in someone who they believe will make it work. It's management. I try to err on the side of, fairness towards managers, because I know it's an impossible job. Sometimes you walk into a football club, and only through friends I've known in the game, and they tell you that sometimes managers go to a club, Shebahn, join a club and go, the club I've left, which isn't as big, I've got a better group of players than the one I'm joining. Mm-hmm. So they've got a massive challenge to literally rebuild a football club, because the standard has either dropped. I mean, West Ham's a prime example of, I do think Graham's got a lot to own up to, because whatever you say, if you lose to set pieces and you get beat regularly by corners, and you're going to it's going to come on you. It's going to fall on you as a coach.
Yeah. Yeah, no, exactly that. And we'll see how Nuno gets on. Obviously, a fantastic manager. Are you confident he can turn it around, or do you think there's bigger problems here?
Well, it's compounded by, the fans, West Ham fans feel that the main issue is the top of the club. And if that isn't a problem, it always filters down and you suffer on the football pitch and they make bad decisions. Leadership is a very special thing that only a number of people can do. And it's like having I was going to say players, because, you choose a captain. A good captain will drive the dressing room and will drive the team. So you need good leadership.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. By the way, it's live for you on talkSPORT tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Everton hosting Nuno's first game in charge of West Ham is going to be live for you here on talkSPORT. Let's hear now from another under-fire boss. Manchester United's Shebahn Aherne Tony spoke to talkSPORT after the defeat yesterday at Brentford, said his team struggle to recover from setbacks.
Because it's in this moment to win Premier League games, if you are not full of confidence and belief, sometimes it's really hard when you are in the with the sound of the opponent, when you all the crucial moments, and you can see the first goal, Cunha suffer a foul in that moment. These crucial moments, if not for us, we struggle a lot to get back to the game, and we are suffering with that.
If you're watching on your smart TV, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, as Cass said there, the pictures of Shebahn, it's looking at the floor. I think he's now starting to go, what's happening here? Is this ever going to happen for me? He must be losing complete faith.
Just a quick point. It was something that I've mentioned quite a few times on this radio station about set pieces and responsibility. Jack Charlton was very basic, but he'd just say to you, I'd say, who am I picking up for corners, Jack? And he'd go, a big one. Big ones pick up big ones, little ones pick up little ones.
Okay.
Manchester United got Maguire, De Ligt, and Sesko. So surely they've got three players who are 6'3" plus, should be winning headers and dominating that area. You've got three really big lads strong in the air. How can you be beaten so easily in set pieces? Corners, free kicks, throw-ins.
And you know the threat. You know the Brentford threat from set pieces. And also, and credit to Keith Andrews as well, Cass. I mean, almost mocked in a way, because he was the set piece coach. But how come Shebahn Aherne Tony can't look at that and identify that and know that his team are prepared? The big lads in the team are prepared for that. And to lose again in that fashion, it's becoming a real issue. You cannot shy away from it now. And Man United fans are, I think, at the end. 03717 223344. That said, Cass, if you change manager again, I think Oliver Glasner could go to Manchester United and struggle, because there's a deep-rooted issue at that club.
I don't.
You think Glasner would turn it around?
I think always, like I said earlier, like I mentioned about West Ham, the top of the club is very important. But I think Glasner's already proved how many players has come in with the influence of Glasner. You look at people like Lacroix have come in. You've seen the emergence of Richards at the football club. You've seen Mitchell become a far better player. And just one other thing on this really bothers me. Manchester United best goalkeeper, I think, over the last 5 years was Dean Henderson.
Yeah.
He's now playing at Palace.
Yeah.
And you've looked for a goalkeeper, and Man United fans might go, oh, he wasn't very good for us at all. He was a very good young goalkeeper. Chris Wilder had him at Sheffield United, and he done brilliant for him. And I've asked him how good, and he says one of the best, the best keeper he's had talked in glowing terms about Dean Henderson. And he's ended up going to Crystal Palace and finding his career. And by the way, is one of the top keepers. And you can't find a keeper. Yet he was at your club as a young lad. I don't get it. I don't get how things are so obvious.
Said this earlier on in the week. We could put together a starting 11 of players that have recently left Man United and flourished elsewhere. 03717223344 is the number. You can have your say with Tony Cascarino this morning on the subject of Manchester United. What happens next, United fans? Are you still standing by Ruben Amorim? Lots more coming up in the weekend sports breakfast. We need to get stuck into a glorious day at the Ryder Cup. Go on, Team Europe, absolutely smashing them to pieces. This is the weekend breakfast here on talkSPORT. Good morning. Good morning, you're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT with Shebahn Aherne and former Villa striker Tony Cascarino. Southgate will make you whole again. Well, ex-England manager Gareth Southgate is in the paper today, Cass.
Yeah.
Reason being, it's reported that he's charging fans up to £86 a ticket to see him plug his new book, which is already reportedly being discounted to half price. The live talks promote the memoir Dear England, Lessons in Leadership. Supporters do not even get to meet him or take a selfie, but they do get a copy of the hardback book.
Yeah.
Would you pay £86 to
No.
see Gareth now?
I mean, I've met Gareth a couple of times, been in his company, and really like him as a person. I think what he did with England, to his credit, okay, they didn't win anything, but I thought there was an enormous progression in the England squad and with the performances. He done surprisingly well, in my opinion, for England. Yeah. But it's got lots of good players. England's failure is not that they don't, they produce great players all the time.
Yeah,
they're the envy of lots of countries. They have much talent.
I feel Gareth Southgate gets so much stick sometimes.
I think it's a bit, it's a bit unfair, but ultimately, and rightly so, if you're a Brazil manager, you're expected to win things. If you're an Italian manager, you're expected to win things. France manager, Germany manager. So the expectation, it comes from the England fans. And only to win one trophy is like way too short.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I actually saw him last week at an event, and I found myself in a really random situation in a lift, in the corner of the lift, a busy lift, with Barry Hearn on my right and Gareth Southgate on my left, and Barry Hearn talking just right in front of me to Gareth about, I want to say it was a kids team that maybe one of his grandchildren are playing for.
All right, he's decent. Have a look.
Really positive about this kids team, and Gareth he was delightful, bless him.
Yeah, he's a really nice man.
Yeah, I should have got my selfie there and then instead of trying to pay £86 for it. 03717 223344 is the number. We're going to be taking some Man United calls a little bit later on in the show, because some of you are furious this morning. That's the thing. We're thinking easy like Sunday morning. A nice chilled list. People are fuming.
It's no easy like a Sunday morning. I think you could have Chelsea fans on, United fans on, Liverpool fans on. I mean, I like I said, because of obviously I support Liverpool, is that I've been so shocked by the reaction of people saying, yeah, this is a sign of a great team, that they can win games like on. I'm like, are you kidding yourself? You take it over a long period of time, this Liverpool team are going to lose games.
Yeah.
They will.
Yeah.
In the way they've won them, for me, it was just, it's okay over the last, say, 3 weeks, a month. But there's been massive signs that this Liverpool team are going to drop points.
You're right, because he hadn't seen a complete 90-minute strong looking Liverpool performance.
Look, we're talking Liverpool a bit later,
I know,
so I've got to be careful with
I know. No, I feel you. You're pumped this morning, Cass.
Yeah, I know.
He's absolutely ready.
Golf got me.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Ryder Cup, shall we?
I've got to hammer everybody.
Incredible.
Would that be a slang? Ruben hammering.
Hammering, yes, very true. A real hostile atmosphere with the fans at Bethpage Black. Rory McIlroy, he swore he gave somebody the finger on Friday, and then yesterday, and for me, I think fair play to you, told the fans to shut that bleep up. He then held back on taking a shot until the crowd went quiet. He said, I'm not going to go until they shut up. They have got so much oomph about them, this side, and Europe have been absolutely ripping the US up. It's been great.
They're loving it. They're loving it. And you could also add in Justin Rose last night. If you saw late on, Shebahn, that Justin Rose got a little bit embroiled in a problem with the caddy.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah, and he's like not having it.
And Fleetwood and Bryson trying to go for Fleetwood. I'm like, yes.
Well, to be fair, Bryson's one of the only ones I think that's got a real. This American team lacks so much personality. And by the way, Keegan Bradley's done a Ruben hammering with the team. He's really messed it up. I mean, sticking players out. And I'm not a golf expert, but I do know about certain things like most of us do that, if you've got a pairing and they've been battered, do you send the same pairing out again in the afternoon?
Or is he trying to show them the trust? I believe you can turn that around.
Well, they lost. Okay. If you do look at Scotty Scheffler and you had Henley, and I said yesterday, couldn't get Henley and Scotty Scheffler. there was a real lack of length there off the tee, especially from Henley, one of the shortest hitters on the PGA Tour. You want Scheffler with someone who's going to boom it out there, or Cameron Young. I would have straight away Cameron Young. Now, it's easy in hindsight, but Cameron Young's a really direct, long player. But they made not just one boo-boo. They did it with a number of Morikawa and Morikawa, who was he with again? Sorry.
Go on.
English, Harris English.
Yes,
Harris English. And again, just a terrible pairing.
Yeah.
And got beat comfortably.
And you said it so many times yesterday, they don't have the character. And listen, their fans are letting them down as well. They've been throwing abuse, been too much. It's been too...
Yeah, it's gone over the line.
Over the line. And like we say, Rory McIlroy has reacted. Some fans spoke to talkSPORT yesterday because our Rupert Bell is out in New York City, and they discussed the vociferous abuse Rory McIlroy has been receiving over the tournament.
I did not like it. I did not like it at all. I was embarrassed.
We were giving it to Rory. Good or bad? Hey, it's all good. In the Ryder Cup, it's all good.
I don't really appreciate all that behavior, but it's hard to control everybody sometimes.
We love him. So do most of the Americans that were yelling at him. They love him. They're just jealous that he's playing on the other side. But we love him.
Keep going, Rory McIlroy. I mean, he's doing the job he can, and actually it's entertaining as well.
Yeah, well, it is, and look, there's always been an etiquette theme in golf. That isn't the case, but you're playing a Ryder Cup and you're playing in New York, so it's going to be hostile, but it was crossing the line. You could quite clearly see that it was affecting the players' noise as they're lining putts up, and it was such a weird... Keegan Bradley, right, okay. He could have made the team by his performances, but he was captain 2 years ago and he carried on playing on the tour to, you know, was he giving the same effort and desire that we saw from, obviously, you look at the European leadership, Luke Donald, okay, he put 2 years preparation after winning it before in Rome. He'd done all that preparation. Could Keegan Bradley give the same as he was a player? Because he'd qualified to be in the team, but he chose to be the captain. But as a captain preparing, could he do the same preparation as Luke Donald?
Yeah.
I'd say probably not.
Also, character comes into it. Keegan Bradley seems like the nicest guy ever. Is he ruthless enough? Can he handle that kind of heat, that kind of pressure? Luke Donald...
I think he shouldn't have took the captaincy up. I think he should have either gone for as a player, and if he did take the captaincy on, stop playing.
Yeah.
And he chose to do both.
Yeah, no, absolutely. More Ryder Cup coming up for you today.
I know Luke played as well, but not to the same, going to every PGA event. Keegan Bradley was trying to fight for, his place, and he would have made it in the team. Maybe they could have done with a Keegan Bradley player in the team.
That's it.
Playing golf instead of being
maybe in the end could have been the player captain role. Could he have done it both, or do you?
Well, I think you have to choose another captain.
Yeah.
But him as a player, I would have got. But you look at Luke Donald's preparation; it was exceptional.
Yeah. Lots of Ryder Cup chat today. We'll see how it kind of all peters out. Apparently, Tommy Fleetwood said to Bryson DeChambeau yesterday, when it all got a bit feisty between them, this is a bit harder than a YouTube channel, isn't it? Apparently, that's what Tommy said to Bryson. Good sledging. Also coming up for you here on talkSPORT today, it's a packed Sunday, the Sunday edition with Sean Custis and Henry Winter coming up at 9 o'clock, 1:30, around the grounds with all of the goals as they go in from the Prem, the Championship, the WSL and beyond.
Game Day Live from 1:30 comes from St James's Park. Newcastle against Arsenal is our featured game. Crookie and I both think this is going to be quite a tight encounter.
Yeah, we do, bearing in mind that Newcastle struggling for goals since Alexander Isak left the football club. Arsenal, I think, again, are going to be quite cautious. They've got a poor recent record at St James's Park. I think it might be 0-0, but it's going to be entertaining either way.
Crookie and Sam Matterface with you today on talkSPORT. talkSPORT 2 at 12. It's WSL action between Liverpool and Man United, and then the NFL live from the Aviva. No, it's Croke Park, isn't it? In Dublin for the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. All coming up for you on the talkSPORT network. Good morning. Morning to you. Welcome to the Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. We're live on your smart TV. We're on the YouTube channel. Tony Cascarino rocking a bright pink shirt today, if you want to check that out. I'm lying. It's Shebahn Aherne alongside Tony Cascarino. Some of your other headlines you're waking up to today. João Palhinha scored a stoppage time equaliser to salvage a 1-1 draw for Spurs. It stopped Wolves from claiming their first Premier League win of the season. Bournemouth's Eli Kruper also scored a stoppage time equaliser to grab a 2-2 draw away at Leeds United. And Brighton came from behind to beat a Chelsea side who had a player sent off for the second Saturday running.
Where it finished, Chelsea 1, Brighton 3. 10-man Chelsea beaten by Brighton, who won this game late on with thanks to a double from Danny Welbeck. It was Chelsea who took the lead in the first half. Enzo Fernandez heading home at the back post, but then Trevor Chalobah was sent off on the hour mark. He was the last man when he took down Diego Gomez, and the momentum shifted. Danny Welbeck headed Brighton level with 13 minutes to go before Maxime de Kuyper sent the away end crazy, heading home from close range in the 92nd minute, and then Welbeck wrapped it up, firing home inside the box to wrap up all 3 points.
Welbeck taps off in celebration for that one. Ollie Klink there working for talkSPORT. What do you think of that performance? And another man sent off for Chelsea, Cass.
Chelsea were fine for about 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Then obviously mistakes happened. They paid the ultimate price. I said to you yesterday, Shebahn, the biggest thing I have with Chelsea is that I just don't see a team that get past many matches, 60, 70 minutes of really good high-level performance. They have done it. It was against PSG in the Club World Cup final. Mm-hmm. But they haven't done that in the Premier League, that complete performance. And yesterday you pay a price with Brighton. If you don't get, that they're a powerful, athletic, well-drilled side who can cause you problems. And look, Danny Welbeck might be 34. We talked about ex-Man United players.
Oh, put him in the starting 11.
We're going back a long time. But, Danny's still applying his trade at Brighton. Offers a lot for them, the way they play. So fair play. It was always going to be a tricky game. But Chelsea making too many fundamental mistakes. You make errors of just basics, like short passes that ends up with a player getting away, running on a one-on-one, and then someone brings him down, as Chalobah did, and then you end up giving away, a free kick and getting a player sent off. Yeah. And suddenly your back's against the wall. And they've both games, Manchester United and Brighton yesterday, when they went to 10 men, they were poor twice. It doesn't mean you're good. You're one man less, okay? But you can still do a lot better than what Chelsea did in them two games.
Fair enough. Jason Cundy yesterday in the game day phone in with Jamie O'Hara was pulling his hair out. Another man sent off 2 Saturdays.
He hasn't got any. It's all gone.
Pulling out his hair transplant that he's not got yet, but we'll book him in for it. Starting 11 for Man United players that have left. I mean, even Welbeck there. I mean, it's reported that Man United were linked to Welbeck in the summer, that they wanted him back. I mean, Højlund, Anthony, Rashford, Sancho, Alanga, McTominay, Dean Henderson in goal. The list goes on and on. 8-10-89, you can add to that. It's not a positive day for Man United fans. Ruben Amorim under the pressure, losing 3-1 at Brentford in the 12:30 kickoff here on talkSPORT. For more on it, we can speak to Stretford Paddock presenter Jay Motty. Jay, bright and early, thanks for being with us today.
Hi, Jay.
No worries. Are you okay?
Yeah. Tell us about your football club, because I've ranted and, talked about them as a flagship club, and just think of some of the stuff I'm witnessing is incredible.
Yeah, you're right. Incredible is a word that you could use, and not for the right reasons. I mean, every time we have a little bit of a good result, or you think we might be taking a step forward, whether that's the win over Chelsea or the win over Burnley, or even the performance against Arsenal, where we lost, but I thought was a decent performance, then we take 2 steps back, and yesterday was the same. I mean, look, we should have scored a penalty. I think Bruno Fernandes, you expect him to score a penalty, and it's unlike him. I think he's missed 2 now this season, and there's a good argument to be made that maybe even Brentford should have been down to 10 men. But regardless of all that, United weren't good enough, and we haven't been good enough far too often this season. And even if you want to go back last season, under Ruben Amorim. The pressure's mounting and it's just deflating because we went big in the summer. We brought a whole new attack. We thought, okay, that should take us forward. We've got a good... I still maintain that we have got good players. I won't have it that Manchester United don't have any good players. I think we have. It's just not working. And we just should be getting far better results than we have been doing. And you look at some of the results we had. I mean, I don't even know why I mentioned it because it's just going to make me angry. But the Carabao Cup, we're only in 2 cup competitions and we're already out of one of them. So it's just incredibly frustrating as a Manchester United fan. And I fear for Ruben Amorim, I really do, because I know it's the most obvious thing you'll ever hear, but you can't keep losing matches if you're the manager of Manchester United. And he's lost 17 Premier League matches out of 33, I think it is. I mean, those statistics are just woeful, aren't they?
Jay, what do you say to people like myself who I look at Manchester United and I think they're a soft team, easy to play against at times, lack of pace in certain positions on the pitch, but being done by set pieces where you've got 3 players of 6'3", 4 and 5, that can defend against them, and you look a bag of nerves every time the ball comes in. Are there things that just don't add up to me?
No, listen, I'd love to come in here and defend my team and my club and say you're wrong and know what you're talking about, but it's obvious. I mean, the results speak for themselves and the type of goals we are conceding. And as a fan, when we concede a corner, I'm dreading it. I'm thinking, no, you're just fearing the worst. You don't think, we'll deal with this, it'll be fine. We look nervous, we look all at odds. It doesn't look like there's much cohesion between the goalkeeper and the defenders, or in the midfielder and the midfield in the defence. Yeah, I mean, you can understand why so many teams feel pretty confident coming into Manchester United. Yeah, it feels like a different sort of era when teams used to fear playing Manchester United. Teams used to worry about playing Manchester United. Not even that long ago, but even recently, United, I think it was first season under Ten Hag, after the initial sort of couple of weeks, we beat everyone at Old Trafford. We beat the likes of City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Barcelona. That seems like a million years ago, because now teams, whether it's coming to Old Trafford or whether it's away, they just, they must be sort of rubbing their hands when they've got a game against Manchester United because they think they're going to have an easy afternoon, and that shouldn't be the case. The quality of players we've got, Manchester United genuinely should be able to go toe-to-toe with anyone in the Premier League, and we're just not doing.
Soft as well. I mean, you look at the Chelsea performance and actually thought we've got a bit of grit there from Man United in that game. But again, it's just inconsistent and not good enough. The next game is Sunderland at Old Trafford. Let's not forget Sunderland are up to 3rd in the Premier League, so that's not an easy game. It never is for Ruben Amorim and for Manchester United. I just want to ask you though, Jay, Glasner, and what the job he's done at Palace. He's not signed a new contract as yet. Would you take him at Man United if it's a loss against Sunderland?
I don't know about if it's a loss against Sunderland, because then the first game I think will be Liverpool. So I don't know if they're going to go, right, we'll get a new manager in for a trip to Anfield, because that's going to be a bit of a difficult start for him. I think personally, I don't know, but I think they might take stock after the game at Anfield and say, okay, where are we at now? I think the fixtures after that are a little bit in answer to your question about Oliver Glasner, he's done a fantastic job at Crystal Palace, won a trophy, they play good football, they play a not too dissimilar system and formation to what Manchester United do under Amorim, but theirs seems to be working a lot better. So, listen, I don't like coming on here and sort of talking about replacing the manager, but you've got to be honest. No, I get it. Yeah. I'd be deluded if I didn't think that Ruben Amorim's under real pressure. And I think maybe you do need someone, if we do get rid of Ruben Amorim, who does a little bit of Premier League experience, because Ruben Amorim had a fantastic record at Sporting. He did really well there, won two titles, I think it was. He looked pretty good in the Champions League at the beginning of the season, just after we brought him, or just before we brought him in. So maybe you do need someone with Premier League experience who's done well with the players he's got and with relatively limited resources. So, listen, if it was Glasner, if Amorim does end up losing his job, I wouldn't be against that, to be honest with you.
Okay, Jay Motty from the Stretford Paddock, thanks so much for getting up and being with us bright and early this morning. We'll see you soon, okay?
Cheers, Jay. Bye-bye.
Thanks a lot.
Oof.
Very pragmatic from Jay there, and it's fair enough. Look, it's not we're going to hammer everything about Manchester United. The only thing I'd slightly disagree with, I don't think the standard at Manchester United of being okay is not a standard. Okay is not. You've got to be an 8+ as a player week in, week out. You only have to look at their teams that were successful and players that were playing to that standard. There's not enough of them. In many different positions, I think, are not good enough to be playing for Manchester United. I don't think the fullbacks are anymore. I don't think Luke Shaw's the player he once was. You know, he's not good enough for now for Manchester United. I think Dorku is not good enough. I think the goalkeepers are not good enough. You know, centre-halves. You know, is De Ligt. I like Maguire more, but he's suffering like yesterday. If he hasn't got pace alongside him, De Ligt is not a surprise to me. He was at Ajax and had moves to Juventus, Bayern Munich, wasn't good enough there. And now he's at Manchester United. He's done okay. Not good enough. Okay.
Yeah, I know. You're right. I mean, good players. You can't take it away from them. But it's the weight of the shirt as well at Manchester United. And
it adds more. Of course it does.
They're not feeling it. And that's the same for the manager. Okay, we're taking your calls. Man United fans, 03717 223344. What happens next? Do you stick by Ruben Amorim? Coming up for you, we're discussing players' personal struggles, which may sometimes not be all that apparent. You're listening to The Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Good morning, welcome to the Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne alongside former Millwall legend Tony Cascarino. Some of your other headlines this morning: England produced a dominant performance to beat Canada at Twickenham and win the Women's Rugby World Cup for a third time. Brilliant scenes all over the papers today.
Yeah, I saw the result. Obviously didn't see the match. Too much happening elsewhere as well, Shebahn, wasn't it?
It was absolutely...
golf and the football.
Yeah, it's a shame it kind of went missing in a way amidst all of the action that was going on yesterday.
But them, it's, I mean, all the papers, the front pages are showing the England women's team.
Yeah, brilliant for the Red Roses. 87,000 as well watched at Twickenham, and they've done it. They've won. In other news, Atletico Madrid scored 5 goals against rivals Real for the first time in nearly 75 years, when they fought back from behind in a pulsating derby to win 5-2. And Eddie Nketiah struck with the virtually last kick of an enthralling encounter at Selhurst Park to give Crystal Palace a deserved victory and end Premier League leaders Liverpool 5-match winning start to the season. Here's how it sounded for you on talkSPORT.
Equaliser 3 minutes from time, may win it, and it may not, because Eddie Nketiah has just blasted in from the corner of the 6-yard box. Selhurst Park erupts.
Huge moment. 18 consecutive games unbeaten for Glasner. Incredible.
Yeah, and lost players.
Massive players.
Massive players.
You
know, think of all the unrest that could have happened with Gahey as well, Mark Gahey.
And of all games to do that to Liverpool, it was his flick on, wasn't it?
You can't make it up sometimes, where you go, a club still performs well, and they've lost people like Elise, they've lost, if you go back a little bit further, Zaha, and then, you know, you look at Eze gone to Arsenal, they've kept Walton, they've kept Mateta, who, by the way, really give Konate a rough ride yesterday. Yeah. He's the most improved, I've said it before, he's the most improved player I've ever seen. Mateta.
Ever seen.
There's been players that have improved, but Mateta, I mean, put it out there. You ask the listeners who they've seen, they think is the best improved player. Do you know the biggest room in the world? Room for improvement.
Oh, hello.
That
was very candid on a Sunday morning.
Right?
Got me there, Cass.
He is the most improved player I've ever seen.
8-10-89, do you agree with Cass? Is there anyone else you can throw into the mix there?
He's fine, and he couldn't buy a goal, and I'm pretty sure Roy Hodgson brought him into the club and obviously seen something, for fair play to Roy. But even under Roy, he improved, but the improvement since Glasner's joined the club has been extraordinary.
Yeah.
He literally bullied Konate yesterday.
Yeah. No, you love to see it. For players, you know, like that, who maybe have been not mocked per se, but, you know, underrated.
Yeah,
to get that form, to get that confidence in yourself.
Get that, but also for Crystal Palace, the way they've done their business, Glasner came across a bit like Arsene Wenger did to Arsenal, a little bit unknown in certain. Obviously, he'd had his reputation enhanced at Monaco, but he went to Japan. You know, Glasner's had his career, but it was a risk, because you never know. But his style that he's produced, you know, playing the three at the back with the wing backs being pushed on, and how good they are at it, and how that's the hardest formation, I think, to play with the three, whether you use it as a 3 or a 5, but because you're leaving space. But because everywhere in their team is employed speed to recover and get back, it denies teams that space.
Do you think the way Glasner does it with Palace, do you think the way he does it would work with the Man United crop?
Well, I think he'd certainly look, not so much how good technically they were, but how good they were with the athleticism that is needed to play that style. Because Mitchell's really good. He's improved. He's another really improved player, Mitchell.
He's been in the room.
Absolutely. But you look at Richards as well, have the improvement. You look at Lacroix's improvement. Mark Gay's played way better. I mean, most people would go with Mark Gay, oh, he's not been interested. He's absolutely all in with Palace. Yep. And might say, well, yeah, he's going to get a big move. He's going to get a big move anyway, even if he wasn't that invested. You know, just go and you look at Munoz at right back, the way he plays. I think he's 28, 29 now, nearly, or maybe even nearly 30. What a job he's done on the right side.
Yeah, no, you're right. They've been all absolutely up for it. And
boys in midfield, protect the team. You know, whether it's Hughes, whether it's Kamada, whether it's Walton, they protect their back. I mean, it's just extraordinary how Palace are so effective. This isn't by chance they beat Liverpool yesterday. I said yesterday before the game, really dangerous game. The Community Shield, they won on penalties, but they've done this to a few teams and some really good sides, Palace.
Yeah, and Oliver Glasner, out of the 71 games in charge, won 33, drawn 23, only lost 15 of his 71 games. I mean, huge credit to the guy. His contract, we believe, has still not been signed. He's up in the summer and he's wanted. I mean, he's hot property from a lot of Premier League clubs.
Yeah. And someone will see this as an opportunity. Can we take him? Can we get him? Look, Palace have done brilliantly well. They've given the opportunity. But fair play, watching them, you know, yesterday. And this wasn't a victory by chance. They were the better team by a long way yesterday against Liverpool.
I mean, Liverpool, have you got any concerns there? The money?
Yes.
Go on then.
We're doing it at 7, aren't we?
Yeah. Okay. What was that again? So, sorry, tell me this again. There's always one room for improvement.
No. What's the biggest room in the world?
What's the biggest room in the world?
Room for improvement.
I love that.
Right? And that's what I say to my son, because I'm trying to convince my youngest about his left foot. I keep saying, you've got to improve your left foot, because his right foot is really good. I said, your left foot, you've got to improve that. And he says, I don't need to improve. My right foot's really good. And I'm saying, look, then I use that line. And he doesn't agree it's the biggest room. He says it's the kitchen. It's the kitchen's the biggest.
Very candid.
He's only 10, but you know when you use a line and you know he don't quite get it. But look.
No, listen, I think it's a
you can always improve on anything. I remember talking to a sprinting coach, and you can make somebody slightly quicker. It doesn't mean they're going to run like Usain Bolt, but you can improve people's speed. You know, you can make people quicker over the ground. It's only small margins, but that's what sport's about. Yeah. Small margins. You know. So
honestly, I feel like you've just dropped the mic and very candid.
I know, I'm a bit
get that as
this morning. The golf got me. Yesterday. I got absolutely going with the golf. I was inspired by the golfers. All brilliant from Europe.
I think we all were. You're listening to Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Tony Cascarino, the man, the voice, and the reason that we all got up on a Sunday. Coming up for you next, we'll be talking about Graham Potter's sacking at West Ham. Maybe Cass can inspire him. Morning.
Life after football. For a lot of players, it means going into punditry. Some turn to coaching or working in the game in other ways. But what about the rest? some former footballers turn their sights away from the game, and there are a few big surprises. First up, from rainbow flicks to pancake flips. Ex-Chelsea and Southampton defender Ken Monku switched up his footballing career to buy a Dutch pancake house. He bought out the shop, which had been his favourite pancake spot as a child, and before long he was mixing the batter and getting behind the stove. Next, Everton legend Thomas Gravesen swapped out the high stakes of the Premier League for those of the poker room. He made over 150 appearances for the Toffees and won the Scottish Premier League with Celtic. Turned out the Danish international was pretty darn good at poker. He racked up a reported £100 million from his Las Vegas adventures. Remember former Chelsea goalkeeper Petr Cech? Turns out football nets weren't the only goals he was pretty handy in front of. After retirement, he became a goaltender in ice hockey. Same skills, very different surface. And he even won a Division 2 title with Guildford Phoenix. For ex-Liverpool centre-back Daniel Agger, it wasn't just fancy footwork that was in his blood. He was also pretty good with his hands. The Denmark international turned to tattoo artistry after he hung up his boots. He'd qualified as a skin artist while at Anfield, and he then became the co-owner of his own tattoo company as well. It's not all glamour for ex-pros, though. 1966 World Cup winner Ray Wilson set up a very different kind of business. He became an undertaker after he retired. Finally, not many people can say they've won both a World Cup and starred in an Oscar-winning film. In fact, there's only one person in the entire world who can say that. Frank Leboeuf, the former Chelsea defender, was part of the 1998 France squad who won the World Cup. He ended up marking Brazil's Ronaldo in the final and helped his side to a 3-0 win. But Leboeuf had already begun acting on the side while he was playing football, and his biggest role came some years after his retirement when he landed the part of a doctor in the Stephen Hawking biopic The Theory of Everything.
I embrace the career of acting, so I want to learn more. So seeing lots of movies is a part of my job.
To be honest, with all the dramatic diving in the game these days, there's probably tons of ex-pros who've got the acting skills to make it in Hollywood.
Good morning, welcome to Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. It's just gone 7 on Sunday the 28th of September. We've got lots ahead for you today. Let's start with myself and Tony Cascarino, where Man United got beaten at Brentford again.
One step forward, several steps back. They can never put 2 wins in a row on the board in the Premier League under Ruben Amorim.
Thanks, Sam Matterface. That's encouraging. What's happening next for Ruben Amorim? 03717 223344 is the number. Let's talk about Liverpool, because they lost their 100% record with a last-ditch defeat at Crystal Palace.
3 minutes from time, may win it, and it may not, because Eddie Nketiah has just blasted in from the corner of the 6-yard box. Selhurst Park erupts.
Palace, what a team. And what about Arsenal? They travelled to Newcastle today with a chance to close the gap at the top. Eddie, how's Keane not to let that happen?
There has been an edge to those games because I think both teams are desperate to win. Yeah, we sort of encourage that. I think the more competitive we are, the better we play. So certainly we need to bring that side of our game.
Updates coming for you today on Game Day Live here this Sunday on talkSPORT. We're going to bring you everything you need to know all about today's sport. talkSPORT always has you covered. You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Have you noticed, I know we're only a few weeks into our new relationship,
yes,
but I'm a mess.
I've had a few of them.
Yeah. You know what it's like starting a new relationship, but I've got to be the messiest of all relationships.
You're always eating something, Shebahn, aren't you? You've always got something in store.
No. Do you want to say
You're a hoarder.
I am a hoarder.
Yeah, you certainly are.
You're starting to sound like a proper husband now. I've got yogurts flying about. There's about 10 cups of tea, wipes on the floor. I've got a Milky Way for you this morning. So be a good partner and you'll get some chocolate.
I'm terrible. You know what they say?
You got a sweet tooth.
Yes, yes, yeah. As Andy Townsend used to always say to me, little bit pickers wear big knickers.
I know.
I'll blame Andy for that one.
How was your Red Bull yesterday? Did you?
Too sweet for me,
Too much.
Shebahn.
Too much.
Yeah, I won't have any teeth left in a year's time.
No, you paid a lot for them as well.
That's true.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, you did. Let's talk about Graham Potter, shall we? It was announced yesterday that he's been sacked by West Ham and within hours replaced by Nuno Espirito Santo.
It has transformed into a complete Hammer horror show.
You have to build, you have to develop, but you also have to win.
West Ham 1, Chelsea 5.
West Ham 0, Spurs 3, and if it wasn't over before, now it is now. Mickey van der Ven sweeping the ball home.
They have not done that.
No one's getting away from the fact that we're disappointed from the season.
Breaking news, West Ham have confirmed in the last few minutes that they have sacked head coach Graham Potter. Results and performances, they say, have not matched expectation. talkSPORT understands that Nuno Espirito Santo has agreed to become West Ham's new manager.
You can't say you're shocked in regard to that is for sure. For whatever reason, he's not managed to get them going.
Another one for Graham Potter, not working out for him at West Ham United. Cass, you weren't surprised?
No. Listen to Graham's words there where you have to build and develop. I didn't see any building going on. I didn't see any development of the team. You know, they were well, they still are today. They conceded the most goals in the Premier League and they've played one game less because obviously they play tomorrow at Everton. 1-1, lost 4, not played particularly well, conceded many goals in the Groundhog Day theme, which is set pieces, certainly corners, and haven't been inspired. West Ham fans haven't been inspired by what they've seen, especially at the London Stadium. So it's not surprising. It's a brutal game management. And if you're off, you know, just in the smallest of margins, you're off in whether it's your team and how they play, formations and personnel. If they're slightly off, you pay a huge price. You get beat a lot, and West Ham have been. Yeah,
it's reported that the players arrived yesterday at the club and were told there and then that he'd lost his job, Graham Potter, and that Nuno was coming in. The timing did seem a bit strange ahead of a Monday night game away to Everton. But do you just think that obviously the Nuno thing had been bubbling away for quite some time and they'd just reached an agreement and that's why it happened?
Well, they'd obviously made their decision before the last game. I think, you know, when was it the last defeat? Was it Tottenham? Was it the game before?
Yeah, wasn't it?
Tottenham? Yeah, I'm trying. Oh, no, Palace. They lost to Palace at home, didn't they? They lost 2-1.
Yeah, it was Palace at home.
Probably that was the final straw, but we're going into this game. Yeah. And obviously from that period, we learnt that Nuno had lost his job and there was a window of opportunity there for West Ham to maybe make contact and find out if they could attract him to the London Stadium, and it was going to be immediate. They'd made their mind up. You know, Karen Brady come on talkSPORT a number of weeks back, didn't she? She come on with Henry
and Sean.
Came on, and you know, she spoke about the club and their belief, and I get it all, defending the manager, but they were obviously the record speaks for itself. Last season, the end of last season, it was even mentioned. So they'd already spoke about the end of last season, about how poor it was.
Yeah, Everton against West Ham is live for you tomorrow on talkSPORT at Hill Dickinson Stadium. Nuno Espirito Santo, a brilliant manager now in charge of West Ham, will be all across that game. Let's discuss the other Claret and Blues, shall we? Aston Villa, they take on Fulham today in search of their first Premier League win after picking up a victory in the Europa League. It was 1-0 over Bologna, goal from John McGinn. Cass, what have you made of Villa's performances so far this season?
Surprised, watching a Villa team that were very hungry and had, you know, if we go back not just last season, the season before, were a side that were really driven, exciting, felt like they had a lot of flair in their team. Ollie Watkins had been brilliant the season before and sort of lost their way. I mean, they had their moments last year that I thought they were a decent side. Financial fair play has played a big part in them not being able to rebuild. And they're off it. They're not on it. They're not on their game. There's, to a man, I think nearly in every position you could say, not playing as well as they did last year.
What's the situation with Morgan Rogers? Fans kind of turning on him, booze in the week.
Look, you can play at football clubs and you can... Look, he was getting jeered and booed, which isn't nice. And obviously Morgan's still a young man. But when you're misplacing passes, fans might give you a bit of stick, but they don't boo you. But when they do boo you in jeer, it's if they think you're not pulling your weight. That's when they'll boo you. That's the biggest thing you can do that will really affect them. You can misplay. Every player has periods where you don't play well. You know, loads of us do, where we don't play well, misplay, but you're giving in the effort. I remember getting a bit of stick by Chelsea fans at one period, and we played Everton away, and fans were. I decided the only thing I was going to do in the game that I felt would, just make sure you do this was my commitment. Mm-hmm. I chased and fought for everything. Chelsea fans were great to me that afternoon at Goodison. It stuck with me, that moment where they were like, because they could see I was giving my absolute all. Wasn't playing great, but was giving my all. Now, Morgan Rogers has got to get back to basics. And the basics is the player that did when he first got in the team at Villa, chased everybody all over the pitch, made tackles. Just do that right and then work from there. And fans you'll get the fans back on side. They won't jeer you and boo you if... that's the big thing. It's the difference between playing poorly, giving the ball away, which they get annoyed with. But there's a massive difference of, not trying you.
Villa fan and broadcaster Dan Bardell is with us now on the Weekend Sports Breakfast. Dan, good morning. Do you agree with what Cass has seen there? Is perhaps Morgan Rogers not pulling his weight?
He didn't get booed on Thursday. It was more ironic cheers when he completed a pass, and I think when he got subbed on the Sunday before against Sunderland, it was the same kind of ironic cheers. I look at it it was a bit more of a dig at Emery, to be honest, for not changing him, not making the substitution last week, and I think he left him on to almost protect him from that reaction on Thursday, but that worked adversely because when he did finally complete a pass, he obviously got the same treatment. I don't think it's a case of not pulling the weight. I don't think anyone at Villa isn't working their hardest. He maybe looks a bit lethargic, Rogers, but I don't think it's a case of not pulling weight. I think we're just not clicking as a team. Like Tony said, we're not doing the basics right at the moment. Maybe there was a building block put in place on Thursday by just winning a game and getting some confidence back into some of the players. But I actually think it had an adverse effect on Rogers and Watkins because I think they've probably come out of that game with less confidence.
Yeah, it's a strange one, Dan, because what happens is when you're not playing as well and you're giving away the ball, that's one issue. But then when you lose it, there's a frustration in there you react to slightly later. And then you feel like the team suffer and you pay a price for that. And I was at the Brentford game and I thought Ollie Watkins, it's always a tough one. He's going back to his previous club. So there's always a bit of stick that comes from their own fans or whatever. But for like him and Morgan, I just think they couldn't get two people quick enough for just to lead that line, and I thought they were both guilty of that. And it wasn't just Morgan Rogers, but they both certainly have not put the desired effort that they did when they first got in the Villa teams. I would say there are only small margins, Dan.
Yeah. If you were at the Brentford game, you probably could have watched any other Villa game before or after that this season. You've probably seen similar performance from Rogers and Watkins. I think the difficult thing for those two is that we're just so slow at the moment. The way we build up that game in particular, Brentford, we played in a way that was just so ideal for Brentford to just get bodies back, get in their shape, and we couldn't break them down. We didn't have the kind of skills to break down that low block. And when you're playing like that, it's inevitably the forward players that are going to suffer. And that's probably been the case in every game Villa have played this season.
It's a weird, Dan, just on that, it's really weird because watching Villa at their most exciting when you had Bailey on one side and just, quite direct and, have Villa gone completely away from that idea of having the wingers? Because you felt much more of a narrow team.
Yeah, we've got an unbalanced squad at the moment. The numbers are at the same level they were last season now after the end of the transfer window. But in terms of balance, it's a little bit skewed. There's not a single genuine winger in the squad. All the attacking players off Watkins want to play in the same spaces, and I think that's showing on the pitch. I would have liked to have seen us come up with something different, maybe tactically or systems wise. But Emery obviously believes in what he's doing, and who am I to question Unai Emery, because what he's done since he's come to Villa is absolutely brilliant. We've had one of the best teams I've ever seen. I think Rashford is genuinely a big miss. Rashford and Asensio, I don't think people realised how good they were for Villa, how they elevated standards. Villa were good in the back end of the season, fighting on three fronts. But before Rashford and Asensio came in, the season was a little bit up and down, a little bit of a struggle. It was those two that came in and almost reinvigorated Emery and reinvigorated our season. They're not there anymore. Bailey was hit and miss more often than not miss, but at least he was a genuine winger and had some pace on that right-hand side. He took players away, defenders away, made space for other players. That's not happening anymore. We're just not as balanced a squad at the moment. And when you're low on confidence, maybe you don't play forwards as much as you should. Maybe you don't play forwards as quickly as you should. I think it's just a massive combination of things with Villa at the moment that's led to this bad start. But they've got a chance now, 2 Premier League home games in a row, lost 1 game in 12 months at Villa Park. It's a chance to try and get some points on the board and get up the league.
Well, we'll have the updates for you today here on talkSPORT and Game Day Live. Dan Bardell, Villa fan and broadcaster, thank you so much for being with us this morning. You're listening to Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Coming up next, we'll get into this morning's back pages.
put them under pressure. I will be here as long as I feel that the people want me. The game is about being effective, being aggressive.
Good morning, this is the Weekend Sports Breakfast with Shebahn Aherne and former Republic of Ireland striker Tony Cascarino. Does this bring back the memes?
Yeah, great times. I remember doing this, we're in a studio in Dublin, we were singing this. Fabulous times. Great. The greatest bunch of lads I've ever played with.
Really?
Honestly, and I've had some great team mates in the dressing room, but the Republic of Ireland one of that time was extraordinary.
Oh, that's nice to hear. When are we? Is that the 90s then? That's early 90s?
Yeah, this would have been, I always get confused between 90 and 94. We had 88, 90 and 94, which were obviously different competitions. The Euro 88, 90 World Cup and 94 World Cup. Yeah. This is the one I think that Larry Mullen, the drummer of U2, he had a bit of impact in. The music. So I suspect this is more of the 94 preparation.
I see. Well, this is interesting because earlier on in the week, talkSPORT Breakfast, we're joined here in the studio by former Republic of Ireland goalkeeper David Ford.
Yeah, I don't know David personally, but yeah.
Yeah, and Millwall as well. And he's written this new book called Being the One. It's like a very personal, deep autobiography about finding peace with himself, getting through the dark times, really wrestling with his mind, feeling like he had to prove a lot of doubters wrong and getting to that place in his head where he's not
been there.
But yeah, I mean, actually a fascinating conversation with David Ford later on in the week on Breakfast with Alan Brazilian, and he spoke later on about going in and working with clubs and working with players about the power of the mind, because you can improve all the muscles in your body, but if your mind's out of shape.
Biggest room in the world.
Biggest room in the world is always room for improvement. But funnily enough, we were speaking after he came off air with Alan Brazil, and he has fond memories of Tony Cascarino.
Oh, Tony was an absolute hero, played up to it, because I suppose it was the long ball game back then as such, but as Kenny Jackie said to me, the long pass, and there was no right or wrong pass, but yeah, an absolute stalwart for Ireland, and I think it was in Italy 90, and I think he kicked the floor and still scored his penalty. He was lucky, so I don't know if he remembers that. And,
I'm sure he'll remember that.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, so that kicked off Ireland sport and Irish football and the spirit that gave Irish people,
Your toes still sore after kicking the floor at that time?
I took a divot, like the golf, I took a slight divot. All I could remember is Jack looking at me and going, don't you dare try and be clever. Don't you even dare. Low and hard. So I had it in my head. All I was going to do is low and hard. And I caught a bit of the ground, but it flew in. In normal action, you can't really tell. But if you slow it down, like we do with everything, it looks a worse penalty because you see a divot come up.
Like you said, it kick-started so much.
Yeah, but fair play. David, was talking there about Ireland at that time, and I was one of a number of characters that just loved putting the green shirt on.
Yeah,
and just I said I played in the best era of football, which was the 80s and 90s. That's a biased opinion by me. But if you ask any of the Irish boys and team colleagues, yeah, we had fun. Just a mad time of my life.
Love it. Very, very nice to hear.
Can I just say?
Yeah.
One of the funniest things happened was, we were at the height of our fame in the early 90s, and we're in a kebab called Abracababra in Dublin.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, Abracababra. 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're all buying kebabs. It's about 3 days before an international.
It's just don't do it.
No, it just wouldn't be done. And I get it. It can't be done. Players are way fitter now than they used to be. But I remember being in there with a few of the lads and we're laughing because fans can't believe we're in a kebab shop at 3 o'clock in the morning.
It's funny that we're talking about this now, random. My sister plays for the Republic of Ireland and she talks about the early days. She's like, us being 1920, there wasn't a spotlight then on women's football or on Republic of Ireland women. And she's like,
no, there wasn't a spotlight on us until really it changed in the mid-90s. It really did change.
Some of the stories.
Yeah.
I mean, what they were up to. I mean, it sounds like good crack. It was a good time.
we used to say to Jack Charlton when we played World Cup 90, we're going to play snooker. We're going to go and play some snooker in Sicily. And Snooker? There's no snooker halls in Italy, surely. No snooker. Oh, no, we found a snooker room, Jack.
Yeah.
We'd go and have a few pints. We're in the World Cup duty. Just mad.
By the way, David Ford's book, Being the One, is out now. If you're battling with your own mental thoughts, this one might be worth a read for you. Very quick look at today's back pages, Kat.
Yes, there's
David Walsh.
Yes, David Walsh. He's got a headline of Sickos, Robots and Ram. My 12 hours watching Ryder Cup. He talks about something I did yesterday, and I spoke to David early in the week, and we talked about the Ryder Cup and the team lines up, and we were both very bullish about Europe, and it just goes the explanations you go through. And one thing that occurred to me, he's talking about sitting on a sofa for 12 hours and not moving, which I did. And, any good nurse would tell you can get sores. And I'm thinking, this could be my third day on the spin. That, I'm going to get sores. And his wife has taught him how it's not good for you and all things like that. But he also talks about a journalist who speaks to Keegan Bradley. And he talks and says, Data Golf is a very respected, reputable source out there. So it's all data-based of, all information that helps a coach captain to pick the best teams. Mm-hmm. And that it found Harris English and Corey Morikawa the 132nd best combination of possibilities that he could have selected.
Wow.
Which was last. And then is asked, so why did you have them in the top 4? Ask Keegan Bradley. Yeah. And then Keegan Bradley replies, well, of course, emotions you can't understand, which is true. You can't understand what's going on in people's heads at certain times. But to have the last possibility selection that could have been made by the data, you've ignored. And I'm not saying data is right on this, but it was such an odd pairing that was so obvious to so many people. And yet Keegan Bradley just went down the road of just explaining emotions that go on with, the personnel that you're picking. So I just thought it was a very interesting point from David and the 12 hours of watching Ryder Cup golf, because I'm guilty of that, and there's a lot more, because I'm on a WhatsApp group, and by the way, all of them were
saying the same thing.
And your other half, I'm sure.
Yeah, I haven't even seen the guy. Honestly, he's not even come home. He's still with Ryder Cup. All the updates coming out of New York and Bethpage Black later today. Also, we were talking about Ireland. NFL is in Dublin today at Croke Park. That's where he's gone to Dublin.
Cool.
Where's the Ryder Cup?
Was he a part-time husband?
I'm telling you, he's getting it. Pittsburgh Steelers against the Minnesota Vikings going to be live for you on talkSPORT 2 NFL action from 6 o'clock this evening. You're listening to Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Coming up next, we're going to be joined live in the studio by our band of the week. The Now are with us next. A very good morning. Welcome along to Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne and former Chelsea and Republic of Ireland striker Tony Cascarino. We switch sides at this point because it's quite weird.
You're on my deaf ear.
Because I'm in your deaf ear. How many people have wished to say that about me? About being next to me.
I don't know. You need to ask your other half.
Oh, that's why he's left the country for the next wee while. Some of your headlines you're waking up to this morning from the Premier League. Erling Haaland scored his 8th goal in 6 games as Man City dominated Burnley 5-1 yesterday. Ange Postecoglou still looking for his first win as Forest boss after losing 1-0 at home to Sunderland. They're up to 3rd in the table, Cass.
Frightening.
That is incredible.
Yeah, got Manchester United next, don't they?
Yeah, at Old Trafford. And it was an unbelievable night in the Rugby League. St Helens defeated Leeds after the hooter with the very last play of the game. 16-14 it ended. Here's Mark Wilson with what you missed.
An unbelievable moment, a fairy tale moment for Paul Wellens and St Helens. The Leeds season is over. I have never witnessed a moment like that. The number of hands that were on the ball. Jack Wellsby sportingly is going round the Leeds players offering his commiserations. You can't beat live sport, Paul Cook. We've just witnessed one of the greatest sporting moments ever. Live on talkSPORT 2, Shane Wright's try has ended the Leeds season.
Chaos. Love to see it. Live on talkSPORT 2 in Rugby League last night. Last minute winners, Cass.
Yeah.
What would be your old time?
Well, I know the one I disliked the most. It was against PSG playing for Nancy. We were winning in Paris 1-0. I scored a goal. And 96th minute, they got an equaliser and we were in a relegation battle. And it literally put us in the bottom 3. We never got out.
No.
That was the most painful, definitely.
Could you go back now and make sure that never happened? Or was it a goal that couldn't be stopped?
I wasn't... He didn't want me to go back from set piece. It was a set piece. And the coach always said, I want to leave you up front. So if we clear it, we're clearing it to you. And I felt at that moment, should I go back? Should I go back? But he was asked, it wasn't his fault. That's what we did every week and we were good at it. We had enough big defenders to handle it. And but we conceded. And we eventually went down that year. So, yeah, it was painful.
At least you're over it. Right, do you want a tissue? Good last minute winners, Man United, the treble win.
Yes, I mean, remember that well.
That's got to be the most iconic.
Yes, I'd say so, because it was the 2 goals, it wasn't 1.
Yeah.
It was 2.
Ollie.
And Sheringham, who I played with, obviously got the equaliser.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was on Republic of Ireland duty. We were all away watching it. Remember that, being in that room and... Yeah.
Crazy.
It's a massive moment for that football club, yeah.
Absolute chaos. You can let us know, 81089. What's your favourite last-minute sporting drama? You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Speaking of which, yesterday it was a 1-1 draw, Spurs against Wolves, and it was left at a last-minute equaliser for Spurs. Thanks to Paulinia. Wolves probably didn't deserve that.
I didn't see the game because I was Ryder Cupped out.
Right.
So can't comment too much, but I'm not surprised by Aherne, who I said at the start of the season would be a great signing for them.
You gave good credit yesterday, in fairness to you, to Paulinia, and there we have it. Wolves denied of their first win of this season. Okay, it's time now for this. Our band of the week with us here on talkSPORT is The Now. That is their new single, Roll With It. I'm pleased to say we've got Will and Shane with us from the band Now. Hi, guys.
Hi, Joyce.
Thanks for having us on.
Thank you very much for being here. Man United fan, Will.
Yeah.
I mean, where do you want to try with us? Or?
Groundhog Day all over and over again. I just feel like the last since obviously Fergie left.
Vicious cycle.
It's just been the vicious cycle of rinse and repeat, and new manager, it's going to be different, and then the players seem to down tools, and then we all blame the manager, and then we get a new manager in, and then it goes okay, and then it's just, I don't even know what the answer is. I wish I did.
Yeah, you've spiraled out of control, haven't you?
Yeah.
I mean, the spending's been enormous, and you're paying a bigger price because every time it goes to a new episode, it's even more money that it's costing the club.
We just spend a lot, but then we can't seem to shift players on either. We sell players, so cheap and.
Well, that is telling you something, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's telling you the players are not as good as what United hoped they'd have been.
You're paying Man United tax on players and then pay Man United tax selling players out because they're... I don't know. Yeah. I'm just lost for words.
You are mirroring a lot of Man United fans and their feelings this morning. You're kind of a bit defeated by the performance yesterday. You're a Swansea fan.
No, I'm a Man United fan.
Man United fan.
Yeah.
Right. You're from Swansea then. Let's focus on that.
Yeah, that's why the band members are Swansea fans. So half are Swansea, half are Man United.
I had one of the funniest weekends ever when I went to Swansea with a load of boys. Oh, we had such a good time. It was great fun. We were going to go Cardiff and then we decided, no, we're going to go Swansea and play some golf. And we were out in the night. We had such a good time.
Into the thick of it in Swansea.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how lively it was.
It is quite lively.
Absolutely buzzing.
It's a good word to describe Swansea.
And tell us about how things are going. I mean, what's been your biggest gig to date? How's everything going for the band now?
We've had a few big gigs, to be fair. My favourite, personally, is Isle of Wight Festival. We were on the same lineup as Human League and stuff like that. So that was
Human League, yeah, good band. Sheffield, didn't they?
Yeah, when we sandwich between the Sugar Babes and somebody else, quite a nice sandwich to be in.
Yeah, it was.
Sugar Babes and Human League.
I think it was, yeah. It's a sentence I never thought I'd say, but yeah, we were sandwiching between them two. So yeah, no, that was really good.
Yeah,
and we played Swansea. We played the opening of the arena in Swansea the first night. So
brilliant.
So we played there, yeah.
Oh, absolutely really brilliant. Good. So things are going well.
Yeah, really good.
Apart from the team, but we can talk about that another time. How is it watching football and being in a band? I mean, do you take defeats on stage with you, or do you quickly shake them off to perform for the crowd?
Well, I suppose this performance today will tell. If it goes really well, no. If it goes terrible, I'm blaming Man United. So that'll be Ruben Amorim's fault. It's the system. I'm blaming the system on the performance.
Look, it's well known that any time you have Welsh singers, it's always decent. It's always good.
No pressure, Shane.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
pressure's
everyone
on you.
Be there to judge now, when I saw.
Yeah, exactly that. Well, take it away, guys. Live for us on Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. This is the now. Big Man United fans. Can they turn it around for Man United fans? Here they are with Roll With It on Weekend Breakfast.
You don't feel my pain. I got crushed out cigarettes in my name. You keep running away like a house up in flames. You'll escape. These nights come crawling in. You better roll with it. You better roll with it. I take these time to get out in my words. I let out the water. Fake my smile for another hour. I take out your daughter, and your wife will say back again. Now the wait up to all again. These nights come crawling in. You better roll with it. You better roll with it. You better roll with it.
Brilliant stuff.
Great stuff.
That was for you, Ruben, wherever you are.
Will's wearing a shirt, if you're watching on the YouTube channel on your smart TV, a shirt from the glory days as well.
Sort of. 92-ish.
We'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take the second to Leeds now, when we used to be second, remember those days?
No, absolutely. Sunderland's the next game at Old Trafford. What's thoughts? You sticking or twisting?
You don't know what you're going to get. That's the problem.
We could win 5-0. We could draw. We could lose. We could.
I don't think 5-0.
All right, calm it down. I know, but you got to be. Yeah, I don't know. A win is a stave execution, I think.
Yeah, I think if we lose the next game,
I think if that's
It's Liverpool afterwards, isn't it?
Yeah, Liverpool away.
Yeah.
Which 2 managers have gone when we played Liverpool? Jose Mourinho and Ten Hag left.
Yeah. So, it's not going.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Good luck. Great stuff.
Cheers. Thanks for having us on.
Good luck with what's to come. That's Roll With It. And you can get it now wherever you listen to your tunes.
And all streaming platforms.
Yes. Well, Shane, hope things turn around at Man United. Hope things keep going well for you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Here on the show on Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Coming up next for you, we're going to discuss Sunderland and look ahead to Newcastle versus Arsenal at 4:30 this afternoon. How are you getting on this Sunday? You're listening to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne and former Republic of Ireland and Chelsea striker Tony Cascarino. Some of your other headlines this morning: England produced a dominant performance to defeat Canada at Twickenham and win the Women's Rugby World Cup for a third time. Fair play to them. Imagine they're still out and on it.
Oh.
Maybe listening in a taxi.
Yeah, I'm sure they're probably all wrapped up in bed and recovering.
No, they're not.
What's 10 to 8 in the morning?
They're on it still. They got to be. They know how to party, the rugby lot. Also, there's a few games in the WSL today, and our Charlotte Richardson can tell us what you need to be looking out for.
p.m. The most eye-catching amongst them, the clash between Manchester City and London City Lionesses. The WSL newbies made history last weekend, picking up their first top-flight win. On the road again, they will be looking to upset City's rhythm under their new boss. On the subject of new bosses, Liverpool have had a torrid start to life under their manager, fresh in post, Gareth Taylor. Things don't look to be getting any easier with high-flying Manchester United in town. Brighton and Everton have both looked strong in spells. They meet at Broadfield Stadium. Leicester City, meanwhile, host Spurs in a fixture both will feel is winnable. The weekend is rounded off as the only team with an immaculate winning start, top of the table Chelsea, make the short trip to bottom of the table West Ham. Kick-off in that one is at 2:30 p.m. The Hammers, the only team in the league yet to pick up a point this season.
Thanks, Charlotte. Don't forget, Liverpool against Man United in the Women's Super League is live for you today over on talkSPORT 2. It's a 12 o'clock kickoff. If you haven't already, download the talkSPORT app. You can swipe across to talkSPORT 2 for the commentary in the WSL. Now, Eddie Nketiah struck with virtually the last kick of an enthralling encounter at Selhurst Park to give Crystal Palace a deserved victory and end Premier League leaders Liverpool's 5-match winning start to the season. It's got Castle hot and bothered this morning. He's not too pleased about it. Speaking after the game, Liverpool manager Arne Slot was less than impressed with the way his side managed the closing minutes.
We can only blame ourselves by defending is the way we did. So one of our players decided to run out because he wanted to play a counter-attack, which was of no use because time was up. So it was only about defending. So yeah, maybe we were too offensively minded. Not we, one player was too offensively minded in that moment, which led to them scoring the winner, us losing the game.
Do you agree with Arne Slot there?
Well, it's got them a lot of late wins, hasn't it? Mm-hmm. A late goal. We talked about late goals earlier, and what I would say, there was concerns for me. I mean, Connor Bradley, I thought had a hard time up against Pino and Mitchell. And as a right back, I thought Konate had a difficult game against Mateta. Really bothered by Florian Wirtz.
Why?
Well, he played on the left yesterday, and they're trying to shoehorn him into the team. And I think he's a better as a number 10, but he hasn't played particularly well yet. And if you look at all the performances he's played so far for Liverpool, he's been subbed in every game, or he's come on as a sub as well. And it's concerning that he has not hit the ground running at all. We all know he's a talent, but Florian Wirtz, every week that goes by and he hasn't found his feet or looking like he's getting brighter, he's actually gone backwards since the start of the season. I thought in the Community Shield he probably played his best game so far for Liverpool, which he had an impact in. But since then, look, in its early days, I'm not, going after him, but I'm concerned by his performance because it's not been good, and Liverpool have had a lot of investment. This Liverpool team now have gone I think they've played 8 games. They've gone 4 games. They've conceded 2 goals. Mm-hmm. That's a high ratio.
Do you see Liverpool's best team featuring Florian Wirtz and starting?
Well, not under current form, because he's not played well enough to actually be in the starting lineup. I don't see that at all. Look, you're hoping he'll settle in, like you hope that Isak will settle in. Ikite settled in immediately, didn't he? When he first played his first games for Liverpool, he looked like he was already in place and looked like he was going to absolutely be a great fit for Liverpool. That's not always the case with every transfer, but Florian Wirtz is a concern, even though it's really early doors, because no one's doubting his ability. But whether it's in, when he was in Germany, he was playing, he had slightly more time, I don't know. He keeps getting caught on the ball and he's trying intricate passing and passes that are not coming off.
Well, the result yesterday is interesting because it opened things up for Arsenal to try and close the gap.
Yeah.
At the top today, the 4:30 game is Newcastle against Arsenal. Delighted to say big Arsenal fan and TikToker Rory Talks Football is with us now. Good morning, Rory. Big one today.
Good morning. Yes. Yeah, a big one indeed. Thank you for having me on. Yesterday was...
good day for you boys.
Yeah.
It was a great day. It was a great start to the weekend. So, yeah. Hopefully the players today carry the bounce that the fan base have got.
Yeah, tell us, Rory, your pros and cons for Arsenal, because I think you've built an incredible side of a number of players, and you've had injuries. But tell us on performance sense how you see Arsenal so far this season.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot to be happy with, I think, in terms of the defence and the depth of the defence that we've got. We've seen someone like Mosquera come in like a duck to water. And so that's a good platform to build on in any game, right? And, you know, you look at Liverpool as an example yesterday, the chances they were conceding in the first half, if it wasn't for Alisson, could have been 3 or 4 down. So that sort of building block that we've got, that we've had for the last couple of years is great. I guess...
Oh, we've lost you, Rory. I think you've just dropped out. Mike just dropped out there. By the way, Mikel Arteta saying that he thinks the atmosphere at St James's Park is absolutely beautiful. But I mean, on top of that, and the atmosphere, Rory is back with us now. It's a hard place for Arsenal to go today, isn't it?
Yes. Sorry, I don't know what happened then. Yeah, it is. It's. I think we've lost 4 out of the last 5 games that we've had at St James's, which is really tough. So yeah, I think it's going to be a difficult one, and it's a big test. You know, if we are looking at moving forwards this season, we've got to win at places like St James's, and also we need to capitalise on results like yesterday. You know, last season, I think something we really didn't do was capitalise and close the gap on Liverpool when the opportunities arose. So big test.
Yeah. You know, Newcastle are obviously a very big physical midfield, and generally as a side are a physical side. So that's something that you can match, because Arsenal certainly in that department are very strong.
Yeah, 100%. You know, we've got a really strong physical core to the team now. But one thing I would say is that repeatedly when we've gone there, that's kind of what we've tried to do. We've tried to match them physically and almost allowed it to become a really physical game. And I'm not convinced that that's the way to beat them when you've got the talent in the squad that we do. And I looked at the way Barcelona beat them, and they didn't really play Newcastle's game, and they did just rely on the fact that over the course of 90 minutes, they would outplay them, they would play through them. And so I would like to see that today. I don't want us to kind of make it a brawl.
Yeah, we can get the handbrake off as well, Rory. I think a lot of... yeah, let's do it. I mean, I know that a lot of Arsenal fans are happy with the way Mikel Arteta is doing things, but do you want to see a little bit more?
Yeah, 100%. You know, and you look at the players that we brought in, I do think those signings signified a change in terms of allowing players like Madueke and Eze and even Gyökeres, who are more direct, who are willing to take players on, take a shot, just let them thrive. And I do think there's an element of kind of the team was so well drilled previously into the way that we played. It's like, you know, it will take a little bit of time to almost wean that out of them again.
I'd like to see Eze play, and you spoke about Barcelona, about keeping the ball, moving it, and, you know, keeping it on the ground as much as you can. Eze does that as well as anybody.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to see him off the left. I'm hoping Martin Ødegaard can come back in. I do think we miss him both on and off the ball when he's missing. But yeah, look, I want to see Eze given the freedom to do what he does best. And I also want to see more chances created for Victor Gyökeres, because he must be getting frustrated that he's joined and not really had many opportunities.
No, you need goal scorers to get chances, and if he doesn't take them and convert them, then he'll hold his hands up.
Yeah, Rory Talks Football on TikTok. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. We're going to be across the game, of course, here on the Game Day Live show with Sam Matterface on talkSPORT 4:30 at Newcastle. Arsenal will be making that trip up the road to see if they can get the business done at St James's Park. Tough place for them to go. Coming up for you next on Weekend Breakfast, we're going to discuss the Ryder Cup with golfer Chris Wood. We'll also get into Graham Potter's sacking at West Ham with their former striker and former boy John Hartson. This is the Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. Morning.
Ryder Cup. Unique, euphoric, unanimously loved. Here's the history and some of the key numbers behind the contest that grips the world of golf and beyond like no other. The first edition was held in 1927, where a Great Britain team arrived by boat to play in Massachusetts at the Worcester Country Club. Originally, the competition comprised of 4 foursomes and 8 singles, with 4 balls not introduced until 1963. In the first 22 editions, when it was just Brits and Irish against the US, America only lost 3. So, in 1979, in came the rest of Europe, including the future 5-time Ryder Cup winner, Seve Ballesteros. Since Team Europe was established, the head-to-head reads Europe 13, USA 9. Home advantage is a big deal. Europe's last away win was the miracle at Medina in 2012, and America hasn't won on European soil since '93 at the Belfry. It's accepted that both teams tailor their home courses to suit their own players. For example, in Paris in 2018, Thomas Bjorn asked for the rough to be kept extra long beyond the green to target the big booming American drives. 10 years earlier, Paul Azinger did the opposite, and the Valhalla rough was trimmed right down. On both occasions, the home side were resounding winners. So what about the money? The most recent Ryder Cup in Rome drew in a record 271,000 spectators and boosted the Italian economy by €262 million. In the US, the PGA America TV deal with NBC is worth $440 million. But no Ryder Cup revenue has ever gone directly to individual players. That's until now. In 2025, for the first time ever, the US team will each receive a fee for playing in New York. Of course, in Rome, legend has it Patrick Cantley refused to wear his cap because he wasn't being paid to wear it, though he insisted it simply didn't fit. Either way, Team Europe have made it clear they're more than happy to keep playing for the sheer thrill, joy and prestige of the Ryder Cup.
Good morning, welcome along to Sunday Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. We're live on YouTube, we're on your smart TV as well. It's Shebahn Aherne alongside former Millwall and Chelsea striker Tony Cascarino. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's Ryder Cup weekend. We're about to get stuck in about it like a rat up a drain pipe. But first, here's what you're waking up to talkSPORT today. Man United beaten at Brentford yet again.
One step forward, several steps back. They can never put 2 wins in a row on the board in the Premier League under Ruben Amorim.
Also, Liverpool lost their 100% record with a last-ditch defeat at Crystal Palace.
3 minutes from time, may win it, and it may not, because Eddie Nketiah has just blasted in from the corner of the 6-yard box. Selhurst Park erupts.
Palace, unbelievable. And what does it do to the title race? Can Arsenal close the gap and go 2 points as they travel to Newcastle today?
One team, one city. I think that makes it a different as well. And to play as an opposition as well is such a challenge and opportunity at the same time. So great atmosphere to play.
Fascinating stuff in the Premier League. It's all coming up for you today here on talkSPORT. You're listening to Weekend Sports Breakfast on talkSPORT. Cass, do you think Arsenal get a win today or Newcastle?
I think it'll be a really tough game. I think Arsenal just got enough, but I think also, it depends how they go about it. I think they can't get involved too much in a midfield battle with three big midfielders. I think they've got to try and make it a bit more technical as well.
All the updates coming for you here on Game Day Live with Sam Matterface, all on talkSPORT for you this afternoon. Right, let's get into the Ryder Cup. You've been like twitching, shaking about. Europe are on the verge of history at the Ryder Cup. They lead Team USA 11.5 to 4.5, the biggest margin ever going into Sunday singles. Europe now just need 3 more points to retain the trophy. For the Americans, it would take a miracle comeback. 10 points needed for them. Happy to say joining us now is English pro golfer and a man who played in the Ryder Cup in 2016. Good morning to Chris Wood. How are you?
Hi, Chris.
Good morning, both of you.
Yeah, Chris, can you believe what you're witnessing?
It's an amazing performance, isn't it? I think one of the key factors to this is how Europe have gone about it. Under the leadership of Luke, the preparation from this starts 18 months out, like the preparation that they put in, and obviously a lot has been talked about. The practice trip they did last week. It seems the polar opposite of how the Americans have gone about it, and their season ended 5-6 weeks ago, and so not a lot of their players have played much golf in the last 5 or 6 weeks. Whereas Team Europe, we have the BMW PGA a couple of weeks ago. They have a week off where they had the practice trip, 3 or 4 days to themselves, and then they're straight into the Ryder Cup. So it certainly looked like our players are a lot sharper.
Was you astounded? I mean, look, I love golf, Chris, and I've said this before. I love watching it. I think it's a great sport, the integrity of the game. But I was astounded by some of the pairings that were repeated. Go on, you tell us from your perspective.
Well, from the European side,
I mean, it's great if you win, but
like the matchups from the European side, like the morning foursomes yesterday were identical to the morning foursomes on Friday. Because they were so successful, they started 3-1 on Friday morning. Why would you change it?
No.
The Americans, they've seemed like they've scrapped plan A and they've gone down plan B, plan C, and it's still not working. I think it speaks volumes of how the Americans' sort of top players have performed when they're sending a rookie out top in the singles this afternoon. Cameron Young leading them out. That's quite unusual. Scotty Scheffler's not won a game.
No.
And I felt before the week started, if Europe can keep him quiet over the week, then they're in a really good place. And he's played every game and he's not won a point.
Well, look, he's been with Russell Henley, obviously, a couple of times. And, Russell Henley's a great player. We know that. But they didn't seem like they feel a great match when they're together because both of them don't have extraordinary length, do they?
No, I mean, they played President's Cup a couple of times, I think, together. And they've done okay, but not any better than that. And like we say so often, it just comes across a team of individuals, doesn't it? Like you look at the Europeans, you can see it in their faces, the passion, but I think that's it comes so easily to us as the European tour. It's such a different way of traveling than they do in the States. In Europe, we stay in players' hotels. Players meet for dinner in the evening, 4, 5, 6 of you go out for dinner. In America, when you turn up at an event, you get given a car and you go your separate ways. And it is very different. And I think that's just always been the culture on the European tour, and that will never change.
When you played in 2016 in America then, what was the atmosphere like compared to what it is now? Because, I mean, what do you make of the American fans? Some of them... Gordon, Rory McIlroy, the way they have been. What do you think about him?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always that's sort of leaning that side of things in America. Like when I played in my singles, I played Dustin Johnson, and my wife got a little bit of abuse as we were walking around. And in the pairs, I played with Rosie, and I got a little bit, and he said to me, "Look, don't react. That's the worst thing you can do. Just don't react. I was playing over in America a little bit, and you've just got to take it. But sorry, go on.
So I was just going to say, I think it was Rory's wife. I think something was said to him yesterday about his wife as well. Do you think Rory was wrong to tell the crowd to shut the F up and to give him the finger the day before, or is he well in his rights to do that?
I think it's very hard to keep a lid on things when it's so relentless for Rory. He's their number one target, isn't he? And Erica's American, and I believe she had a drink thrown at her as well yesterday, which is obviously way past the line, and no one deserves that. And they ended up having to have more security. Like Rory has the same security with him wherever he goes, every event he turns up at. But I believe the police were involved a little bit more yesterday. Obviously, that's way past what we want to see on a golf course. And for Rory to react, honestly, I think it adds fuel to the fire from a European perspective. They'll all go back to the team hotel, they'll be in the team room, have a meeting, and they'll be using that to get to 16, 17, 18 points today. Honestly, it'll really fuel them.
Well, I would have added to that as well. The Whistling Straits defeat and being humiliated. There's no way on earth there's going to be any complacency from the European team today, because I think they'll want to do and ram it down their throats, the Americans, because of Whistling Straits and being humiliated, or felt like they were humiliated.
Absolutely. And they might even have, I'm sure they started the week with a number in mind of, we want to get to this amount of points. And I would think Whistling Straits might be a target. Can we get past that? And again, even things like Justin Rose last night and Bryson, they had a little bit of a heated moment. And then it carries on up to the next tee. Francesco Molinari, who's a vice captain for Europe, sort of came in to almost protect Tommy, it looked like, a little bit. And then Scotty Shepherd's caddy gets involved and it all got carried away. But I think those sort of things, the losing team, when you're being hammered as much as the Americans are, the losing team can almost fall to that level. And again, honestly, the Europeans will just be using that as fuel to keep going.
Chris, there's one thing for sure. There's a lot of leaders in the European team. Whether it's Rose, whether it's Fleetwood, or whether it's McIlroy, whether it's Ram, the list is endless of how many players have stood up at the plate when needed.
And they've all played really well this week.
Fitzpatrick,
like
Hatton,
like Rosie and Tommy yesterday, I think, had 19 birdies between them as bettable. 11 birdies yesterday and 8 the day before in bettable, 19 over 2 days. Like, that's hard to beat. Our best players have turned up, and theirs haven't.
Rosie, by the way, walking after that putt, I mean, ice cold, iconic. Just that moment, I think, summarises where they're at. But I mean, the confidence as well to do that in front of a crowd. I mean, you're still a good few feet away, and then sinks it, walking in after it. I mean, the scenes have been unbelievable. Can I just ask you very quickly about Keegan Bradley? Do you think he should have been player captain, or do you think he was right to just stick with the captaincy?
I played 9 holes practice at the British Masters a few weeks ago with Brant Snedeker, who's a vice captain. And I was asking him, I was sort of chatting to him a little bit about it. And he was saying, yeah, he can do it. This is before they announced what he was doing. Yeah, he can do it. I was like, well, he can. And I think it was a bit of he was just trying to make sure everyone didn't know what they were doing. There's no way he can play and do it, I don't think. I think he was probably the wrong choice in the first place. When you look at the American side, where are their captains going? I'm not sure. Keegan Bradley should be in the team in his own right as a player. He's played absolutely fantastically for the last 2 or 3 years to get himself to a point where he just missed out on qualifying himself with all the captain stuff going around. It's an amazing achievement. So I thought when it was announced, it was an interesting choice. There was talk of Tiger not wanting it.
Should it have been Tiger?
I'd imagine Tiger will show up in Adair Manor in 2027 in Ireland. That would be my hunch. And I think, well, hard to see at the moment because he's playing so well. He might even be playing, he'll be 47 then, but potentially Justin Rose would be somebody who could lead Europe unless they think, no, we want another 2 years of Luke.
Do you think we're a bit of fun, Chris? You know, like in the 70s when Jack Nicklaus, spoke with Tony Jacklin, because it was the UK and Ireland at that particular time, then went to Europe to make it a bigger, fairer competition. Could it be a good suggestion to go to America and say, well, maybe you should have Canada in now and Central America and maybe Southern America? That'd really upset them. Put that proposal to the Americans if you keep getting whipped.
That would be a big dent to their pride, wouldn't it? I mean, they've got to do something slightly different, haven't they? I would like to think a heavy defeat, as we all hope will come tonight, will lead to a lot of questions and what they can do. But I mean, it's not going to be easy for them to come over to Ireland and try and win. That could possibly be one of the greatest Ryder Cups ever.
Looking forward to it already, Chris. We could sit and talk to you all day for the rest of the day about the Ryder Cup, but you go and enjoy it. How are you going to be taking it in today?
I'll be watching tonight. 4 kids, so get them to bed and then sit down in front of the telly.
Have a cold one on us, Chris Wood.
Cheers,
thank you so much for coming on Weekend Breakfast here on
Thanks,
talkSPORT.
guys.
It has been unbelievable, the scenes that we've seen out in New York. More updates coming with our Rupert Bell across the day here on talkSPORT. And coming up next, we'll get the latest odds from Coral. sexy it hurts.
Do you remember who?
Right Said Fred.
Yeah, can you name an other song?
No.
Deeply deep. Tipsy deeply.
Knee deep.
Someone will know, listeners will know. Deeply deep, or something like that.
Good morning. You're listening to Weekend Breakfast here on
something like
talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne and the man who's too sexy for a shirt. Tony Cascarino. Why are we playing this song? Well, Roy Keane has been used on a bikini at London Fashion Week. No, it's Dublin Fashion Week. Of course it's Dublin Fashion Week. Pictures of Roy in his heyday on the triangle of a woman's bikini. So, would you let Mrs. Cascarino wear that bikini on holiday?
What, Roy Keane?
Yeah.
I'm not even thought about that, Shebahn.
That would be divorce number
3.
Don't wait it. Oh gosh, yeah, you should go and look at that. It's all over Instagram this morning. The Roy Keane bikini. The Roy Keane. Somebody who might be wearing that today for us at Croke Park as the NFL gets underway in Dublin is Will Gavin, our NFL expert, because it's all at Croke Park today. Hi, Will.
Will,
I am wearing that this very moment underneath my special Guinness jersey, which I ended up sleeping in last night. So the Roy Keane will come out on our live stream, so you have to watch at talkSPORT USA. There you go. I got my plug in.
Wonderful stuff. Thank you. You're on talkSPORT 2 as well today. What are you expecting from this one?
Look, this is the first ever game the NFL has brought to Dublin, Ireland. First ever regular season game. We've been doing these games now. It's the 57th edition total of games taken internationally. But these guys have waited 28 years since they had a pre-season game. The game is absolutely huge here, and the city is absolutely buzzing. We've been in Dublin since Friday morning, and they could not be more ready. I think this atmosphere is going to be absolutely electric this afternoon. Pittsburgh Steelers take on the Minnesota Vikings in the game itself. The Steelers brought in Aaron Rodgers this offseason. They really kind of were fancied to potentially take that next step up and be a team who could actually win in the playoffs instead of just reaching it, which has been the story of them the last few seasons. But I think this Minnesota Vikings team is so strong front to back, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. And I expect the Minnesota Vikings on paper should win it. But the Pittsburgh Steelers have this huge history with Dublin. Their owner is the former ambassador to the US, their former owner. They are a family in the Rooney family who come from Ireland, who won this team in a card game in 1933. And so they have these huge links to this city. I think this crowd is going to be 80-90% Steelers fans based on what we've seen around Dublin this weekend.
Wow.
And just maybe that atmosphere could carry them over the line. I think it's going to be really special, guys.
Yeah, sounds great.
Live on talkSPORT 2 with Will Gavin this afternoon. Download the talkSPORT app. You can swipe across to get all the action from Croke Park. Go and sort out your bikini for the day then, Will. Thanks so much for coming on with us. We'll speak to you a little bit later on. Time now to get the latest odds with Coral.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT. Brought to you by Coral, the home of the free-to-play Golden Rewards Shaker. 18 plus max 1 reward per player per selected Shaker day. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Restrictions and T's and C's apply. Gambleaware.org.
Good morning, Steve-O. How are you today?
Very good morning, Shebahn. Cass, good morning. And there was me thinking, I'm Too Sexy was my walk-on song there.
Sorry, you were a bit premature.
How wrong
there,
could I be?
I got the answer that I said deeply. It's deeply dip.
Deeply dippy.
Yeah, that's it. Deeply dippy.
Deeply dippy, yeah.
Oh,
not that it's in my record collection, I should hasten to add.
I was nearly there. David, I want to ask of you, price for Palace to win the league, Sunderland or Bournemouth?
And there was me thinking you were certain to start on the Ryder Cup, but Crystal Palace yesterday, look, I didn't watch the game, I've watched the highlights, and I've listened obviously to some of the reports, and it sounded like Crystal Palace were simply the better team, Cass. And maybe the writing had been on the wall that Liverpool couldn't keep producing those great escapes, could they? And Palace, the only unbeaten side in there. They're 100-1 to win the title. We all remember Leicester. But perhaps more realistically, Crystal Palace are 7-1 to finish in the top 4. Does that still underestimate them, Cass, after the start they've had?
Well, they've been frighteningly good. And it's not a coincidence that you go back even to last season how good they were, Palace. And fair kudos to the club, because the setup, obviously, is we always laud Brighton, Brentford, Bournemouth, of clubs that have done all this sort of thing. Not to the same level of success by the end of the season. But Palace have gone under the radar to some degree and sold players. Not that Bournemouth haven't and Brighton haven't. They all have. But it's just incredible how these teams work. You know, the data that must be in place for them to produce so many players who are unheard of before they get to Crystal Palace.
Yeah, amazing job Glasner's doing. I thought Mark Gahey yesterday, Liverpool fans would have been looking and thinking, if only he was in our defence. Because Liverpool did look a bit all at sea at times yesterday. Look, in terms of down the bottom, it's bad news for Burnley, 1 to 3 to go down. But the other two promoted sides, Sunderland and Leeds, both going along nicely. Both odds against now to go down, which means Wolves are odds on. And West Ham are the third shortest price team. And obviously we saw what they did yesterday. At the top, Liverpool, look, whatever happens today, Liverpool will be top of the table at the end of the day. They are still 5-4 favourites to win it, 6-4 Arsenal. And 11-10 to get all 3 points up at a place. They've not had a great record historically in most recent times, have they? 13-5 Newcastle United, 9-4 the draw. So, yeah, again, Kaz, I mean, can Arsenal capitalise today? They're going to have to improve on you'd have to think they're going to have to improve on the performance against Man City, really.
Well, you know what you're going to get with Newcastle. You're going to get a team that's, you know, very well organised, a lot of pace and power in their team, and can handle the ball technically. So it's going to be a tough encounter, that's for sure. Really is. David,
yes, go on, Kaz.
I wanted to get to you because we haven't got a lot of time, and the Ryder Cup, it's not how short the Europeans are going to be.
So good.
It's the margin now, isn't it? What are we talking? What's the value?
Yeah.
Look, it's just worth reiterating. This will require the biggest ever comeback. 10-6 is the greatest we've seen. Yeah. This is Europe's largest ever lead. It's the largest ever lead by an away side at this. It's absolutely brilliant. But what's fascinating, Europe need 3 more points to win it. 2.5 will obviously retain it. We only have, Europe only have 3 favourites. Only Tommy Fleetwood, John Rahm and Tyrrell Hatton are favourites to win their 2 balls today. Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry are both joint favourites. So, yeah, the betting says this could still be tight. It's not going to be, Cass, is it? Surely, as you say, it's how big? 16.5, 11.5 is 6-1. 17.11 Europe is the same sort of price, 6-1. Surely it's not going to be drama. It is just a case of how far, isn't it?
Yeah. What odds are there you actually win it then, David? You haven't told us that price. I mean,
100 to 1 on.
100 to 1 on. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
America 40 to 1, the Thai 40 to 1. Look, we all love this. The American fans haven't behaved at their best.
No.
We saw Rory react. As a result, those Europeans have got to be fired up and go out there and break all sorts of records today.
We're fired up too.
Could
Dave
you get
Stevens.
a sending off in golf? Could you be sent?
Oh, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
There's been a few cards yesterday, David, wouldn't there?
Yeah. Bryson.
But we love to
Tommy,
see
Rosie.
it, don't we?
We do.
love to see
Proper
it.
entertainment. Dave Stevens, thank you so much. Enjoy
Cheers, guys.
Today. Thanks for coming on. That was a look at the latest odds with Coral. 18+, be gambleaware.org, and please gamble responsibly.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT. Brought to you by Coral, the home of the free-to-play Golden Rewards Shaker. 18+, max 1 reward per player per selected Shaker day. 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Restrictions and T's and C's apply. Gambleaware.org.
Coming up next, what is going on at Manchester United? Fair play to Brentford yesterday, a 3-1 win at home. But what is next for Ruben Amorim? Fans, do you blame the players? Do you blame the manager? Do you blame the club? 03717 22 3344. Very good morning. Welcome along to the Weekend Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Shebahn Aherne alongside former Chelsea and Celtic striker Tony Cascarino. And coming up for you here on talkSPORT today, you're in for a belter. It's Ryder Cup weekend. Europe doing the business. You'll get all of the updates out of New York across the day. You've got the Sunday edition coming up here at 9 o'clock this morning with Sean Custis and Henry Winter. And then it's the warm-up at 11 with Max and Barry. 1:30 around the grounds with all the goals as they go in. Sam Matterface is going to be here alongside Alex Crook.
Game Day Live from 1:30 comes from St James's Park. Newcastle against Arsenal is our featured game. Crookie and I both think this is going to be quite a tight encounter.
Yeah, we do, bearing in mind that Newcastle struggling for goals since Alexander Isak left the football club. Arsenal, I think, again, are going to be quite cautious. They've got a poor recent record at St James's Park. I think it might be 0-0, but it's going to be entertaining either way.
Crookie and Sam Matterface with you at 1 o'clock this afternoon, 1:30, here on talkSPORT. talkSPORT 2 at 12. It's WSL action between Liverpool and Man United, and then it's the NFL from Dublin at 2 o'clock. Minnesota Vikings taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then back on talkSPORT. Troy Deeney is here alongside Majestic, taking all of your calls and the final word from 6:30, and then at 9 your evening is wrapped up with the great Danny Kelly on the Trans Euro Express from 9 o'clock tonight. Another busy day here on talkSPORT. We have you covered. This is the Weekend Sports at Breakfast. Cass, we should have a word about Sunderland.
Yes.
Brilliant win for them yesterday. Still no win for Forest. Ange still on the hunt for a Forest win. But Sunderland, fair play.
Fantastic for the club. And I just want to give a little bit of a connection here, because Kirill Dreyfus, who is now effectively the owner, because his father, Robert Louis Dreyfus, was the owner of Marseille, and he was a billionaire. And I met Robert because of my time at Marseille, and an incredible family. Invested a lot of money into Marseille, and Kirill's done exactly the same thing. He spent 160 odd million at Sunderland, bringing in certain, players that would benefit the football club, and that's paid huge dividends. Of a club that's come up and get that sort of backing, and obviously, it's gone way better than they would have thought. But fair play to them. For the investment, the backing of the football club, and seeing the potential at Sunderland. Because, look, the goalkeeper was brilliant for him. Robin Roofs, okay, he's the goalkeeper, which is quite a funny name, Robin Roofs. Goalkeeper, he was outstanding yesterday. But also the intelligence of going, someone to guide the ship. All these younger lads coming in, players that are, I'm relatively not well known in the Premier League. Because they played their football elsewhere. But someone like Granit Xhaka coming in and leading that football club. And he was superb for them yesterday at Forest. So, a lot of backing helps. When we talked earlier about having the right people upstairs. And Kirill Dreyfus has done brilliantly well on the backing of the football club.
Very good to hear. And you look at the table. I know it's early days, but Sunderland up there in third is it's a sight to behold, considering they've just been promoted.
Well, Palace, Bournemouth, you're looking at, and then you're Sunderland all in that, top five.
It's a changing of the tide. It's just weird.
Look, do I think it will last? No. But absolutely loving every minute of seeing these teams showing what they can do with their spending and just the way they're guided by not only from their coaching, from people who literally drive the club from upstairs,
Yeah. And
you can get success.
The vast contract from a club that had all the success. Let's focus on Manchester United in a different time for them. A disaster yesterday against Brentford at the G-Tech, a midday disaster, shall we call it. Is the writing on the wall for Ruben Amorim?
Every United team. Comes back to Šeško and he's forward it in. It's a double save and then Šeško turns and smashes it in and Manchester United are back in the game. In towards him, Burmo in front of goal. He tries to tuck it home. Collins gets a touch on him. The referee points to the spot. We've been waiting at least 3.5 minutes to take this penalty. Fernandes steps up right-footed. It's saved by the goalkeeper down to his left. And for the second time this season, Bruno Fernandes is denied by the goalkeeper. Jensen's going to go for goal and win the game with an absolute stunner. One step forward, several steps back. That's just Manchester United, I'm afraid. Full time at the G-Tech. Brentford 3, Manchester United 1.
It was live on talkSPORT. Joining us now for more on it is the Guardian's Manchester correspondent, Jamie Jackson. Morning, Jamie. How you doing?
Jamie.
I'm very good, thank you. Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Jamie, we've been here for a long time now, regards to Manchester United, and I don't think there's any way to turn now. I think it's quite obvious what needs to change. And unfortunately, as I love to try and back managers, I just can't see it anymore continuing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the facts speak for themselves. I mean, for Manchester United, any Manchester United team of any era not to win consecutive top flight, league games is just staggering, really. I think he's had 33 games now. And he talked about going into this game. We've beaten Chelsea. It's so important to have momentum of a second consecutive win, as I'm talking about. And he sort of set it up that way. He built it that way on Friday. I was in the room, Ruben Amorim, and he was sort of saying all this. And I know he's got, to a certain extent, got to say this, but I did sort of joke to some of my colleagues afterwards. Well, he said all this. What happens if they lose there? And that's kind of what's happened. And it's not a surprise, is it?
No.
Tony? It's just not a surprise. I mean, they've got a soft core. They haven't got a midfield, really, what you'd call a Premier League midfield. They've got a heck of a pickle with a goalkeeper. Basically, the best of a sort of, let's say, I'm going to be polite, a poor bunch of goalkeepers is actually left on loan. I mean, Lammens, who's come in, is unproven. He's a 23-year-old kid who's never actually played senior international football for Belgium. So the massive pickle there with the goalkeeper. Again, he was at fault, I would suggest, for the third goal. You played there in the clip. Everywhere you look, the sort of issues. He keeps on changing centre backs in this free sort of centre back system. He likes to take one off at sort of on the hour for some reason. Yoro came on when he did that yesterday, and I'm going to be very polite here, but his quote afterwards, one that stood out for me was, I know what I'm doing. Again, he's got to say that. I'm not being rude or disrespectful here, but the facts suggest that, well, if you know what you're doing, Ruben, you need to start sort of showing it, because it's just not good enough. It's not sustainable for any football club, actually, if you actually look at the record.
He said he's doing what's best for the club as well. He said, I'm doing my best and I'm doing what's best for the club. And we all know that. I think he of course he's trying his best. It's not working. But if Ruben Amorim had come in at the beginning of last season, Man United would probably be in the Championship by now. And he's not changing. And there's only so long, I think, Jamie, you'll know this as a journalist and going into these rooms with Ruben, that you can try and see the positivity. And yesterday's performance, it's just negative all over again.
Yeah, it's just sort of, the gentleman oversaw, I think, a £214 million spend in the summer for basically, yes, what you're describing there, Shebahn, yesterday's performance. I mean, whichever way you slice it, if you're Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who basically controls football there as the largest single minority owner, if you're looking at that, you're thinking, well, you've had a pre-season, you've got no European football, you've got extra time on the training ground, all these sort of things actually Ruben Amorim himself flagged that would help. And it's just not. I mean, it's Sunderland next, and then it's a trip to Anfield after the international break. Yeah, I mean, who knows in football, but I would suggest that if he makes it through this week, which I think he probably will just about, if or maybe when they lose to Sunderland, I think then there will be some serious discussions. I mean, they'll be going on now between Jim Ratcliffe and Jason Wilcox, the director of football, about what's the next step. I mean, and then you move on to, well, who do they bring in? But I'm not one of these people who believes, well, if it's, that should be an issue, or who does a club bring in? Therefore, let's stay with the current person, because I don't think that's sort of negative based. I don't think that's proactive. So yeah, it is a mess, and it's a massive pickle.
Yeah, it's look, Jamie, you look at it this way. If you did a load of articles and half of them were pretty average or poor, you'd be taken off the newspaper, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, and this is what
and that's what if your performance level and whatever you do in life, if you're a centre forward, and I've been there and I didn't score goals or I played indifferently, I'd be taken out the team. It's just a reality of life that, underperforming or, failing in your post as a manager, you're going to pay the ultimate price.
Yeah. You really don't want it either, It's a shame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, he's been paid £9 or £10 million basically to sort of be the solution, or be a massive part of the solution to the issues they've had essentially since Sir Alex Ferguson retired in May 2013. Those issues are recruitment and style of play and performance, and be that challenge for the title, actually be serious. And all those metrics, all those sort of factors I mentioned there, they are miles away.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. Fingers crossed it can improve. Sunderland's the next game at Old Trafford. Jamie Jackson, all eyes will be on that. Thank you so much joining us.
Cheers, Jamie.
Jamie Jackson from The Guardian. And then you look at Manchester City thumping Burnley yesterday 5-1. Erling Haaland in the form of his life. It's just, I don't know how long it can continue like this at Man United.
Yeah, but this is not average, is it? It's not... They're an average team might be between 6th and 10th and doing okay at times. And they're a team that were in the bottom half of the table, and they were in the bottom half of the table last year. So where do you go with a club that, if Barcelona were mid-table, what do you think will happen to the manager?
I know.
If Real Madrid were mid-table, they'd get sacked. If Bayern Munich were mid-table.
It's just not worked, the sacking of managers for Man United. It's not worked. And now I look at Sunderland, the next game, and Sunderland sitting third in the Premier League, having just come up. And you have genuine concern that Man United will be beaten by them. It's very likely that will be the case. And that is not good enough for the club. And Ruben Amorim has to get it right. Simply.
Yeah.
Now
and it's got to be fast. There is the time has passed.
Yeah. No more with this inconsistent mess. You're listening to Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Coming up next, we're going to talk about Aston Villa. We're going to talk about the Scottish Premiership as well, because big bad John Hartson is with us next on Breakfast. Good morning, how's it going? You're listening to Weekend Breakfast here on talkSPORT. It's Shebahn Aherne and former Chelsea and Celtic striker Tony Cascarino coming up on Game Day Live. All of the updates in the 2 o'clock kickoff from Aston Villa against Fulham, and also 4:30 this afternoon, a corker. Newcastle United take on Arsenal in the Premier League. Some of your other headlines this morning: England produced a dominant performance to defeat Canada at Twickenham and win the Women's Rugby World Cup for a third time. Probably still partying, and fair play to them. Coventry City maintained their unbeaten start to the Championship campaign with a comfortable win over 10-man Birmingham City. And Eli Krupi scored a stoppage time equaliser to salvage a Premier League point for Bournemouth at Leeds. Manager Daniel Farker disappointed not to come away with a win.
Yes, proud of the boys, very pleased with the performance. Also a valuable point against a really strong and really good opponent, but of course we are a bit disappointed because it was unlucky today not to win. We would have deserved to win this game, and yes, if you then concede that late 94th minutes, it's, of course it doesn't feel that great in the first minutes after the game, but nevertheless great performance and a good point.
Not to be for Leeds, what have you made to their start of the campaign, Cass?
Yeah, good.
Yeah?
Good, yeah.
Okay.
They've, initially they started with not been able to score many goals in the last couple of weeks. They've got a few, so fair play. Bournemouth's a good team. We know Bournemouth are a really good side, so that's a really good point yesterday by Leeds.
Okay, fair play to them. Let's focus on what's ahead also today, and look back actually on what happened yesterday, because we've not touched on Graham Potter this hour. Joining us now is former West Ham and Celtic striker John Hartson. Good morning, John. Good to have you with us.
Hi, John.
Thank you very much.
Lost his post at the club, and after a very difficult period.
Well, am I surprised? Probably not. The only surprise really is maybe they might have given him, 10 games, rather than 5. But I think you look at the start he's had, Cass, and the 3 home games, I think, against Chelsea where they shipped in 5, Spurs, which is the London derby, and then a couple of weeks ago they lost at home as well to Palace. So you look at them 3 London derbies, very, very important to the supporters to win them games. Spurs, West Ham is West Ham, and Spurs is one of their biggest games. I know you can throw Arsenal in with Spurs, but it's certainly West Ham's big game. And from there, you think they've conceded 13 goals. Fulkrug has been injured. Callum Wilson was a strange signing for me. So many injury problems up at Newcastle. So. The board have obviously panicked. After 5 games, they're thinking, where's their next win coming from? I think the next 3 games, they've got 3 away games out of the next 4. So they're probably thinking, we need to get somebody else in. It's been a horrendous start, really, hasn't it, for Graham Potter?
What do you think of Nuno? Do you think he'll be able to turn that around, John?
Well, he's somebody that last season, he had a breakdown in a relationship with the Forest owner, but he got Forest into Europe last season. He's somebody that, he did very well at Wolves for a period. We had a little short spell at Spurs where it didn't work out at all. And who are the others, really? You look who's out there. Really, Slaven Bilic has been mentioned. Slaven's been there before. He's a former player, former manager. But you tell me who else is out there. So I think Nuno Espirito Santo is probably the obvious one, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Tell us, John, because north of the border, something strange is happening where Hearts are top. Tony Bloom has an influence in the football club at Hearts. We know how successful he's been. You got Rangers, who I think got no chance, obviously, and many others think have no chance of challenging for the SPL. That leaves Celtic. Would you consider, after all these years, you have to go back into the 80s, where anybody else but Celtic or Rangers won the SPL? Could Hearts do it?
Over sort of 38 games, Cass, I can't see it. It's that longevity, it's that consistency over the course of a season. They've had a great start. Not too sure whether the Tony Bloom influence, yes, he's there. He's going to spend money, I would imagine. It's great for Hearts. But it's Derek McInnes. Derek McInnes has gone there. He's done a good job. He was at Kilmarnock for a number of seasons. Big club, Aberdeen, when Rangers were demoted into the Championship here in Scotland. He did very well. He got Aberdeen. Not to say that was the reason why Rangers were out of the top flight, but that would have helped. Got them to several, second places, cup finals, and Celtic was his nemesis at the time. But, can it happen? I don't think so. I think Celtic are too strong over the period. I think for Hearts, if they can split Celtic and Rangers and potentially get into that second place, I think that would be wonderful for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Rangers away at Livingston as well today, John. We'll keep eyes on that as ever. John Hartson, thank you so much for your time on talkSPORT this morning. It's good to see you.
Cheers, John.
Take care. By the way, the last time a side other than Rangers and Celtic had won, it was Sir Alex, wasn't it? Then Aberdeen then?
Yeah, Aberdeen. You have to go back that far.
Yeah. God, it's crazy, isn't it?
And it's in the 80s, I think 84, 5, something like that.
How good Sir Alex Ferguson was. I mean, I actually was thinking that again. I know it's almost boring now to still think about that, but how Man United have changed without this man is just... crazy. It's crazy. Let's hope it can get better.
It shouldn't happen like that, though, because if you think of Barcelona, Real Madrid and all the biggest leading clubs in Europe, that you can lose a manager, even someone really established, like Barcelona lost Pep. Does that mean that's the end of the club?
No.
It shouldn't be. They have financial muscle that like no other clubs, that they're challenging around.
This is it. Very interesting day. Live for you here on talkSPORT. We've got all the action coming up from the Ryder Cup, of course. We've got live WSL action in the NFL over on talkSPORT 2 and going around the grounds for all of the games this afternoon from 1:30 on Game Day Live. But coming up for you next, it's the Sunday edition with Sean Custis and Henry Winter. Have a good Sunday. Enjoy.